What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. I am your host, Nick. And is it next Monday or is it this Monday when talking about next week?
It's next Monday.
Yeah, you're talking about next week, so
Specify
next Monday.
March 10th. So you're saying
This
March
coming
10th.
Monday.
This coming.
This upcoming
This
Monday.
next Monday.
It's the next Monday that's coming up. So
That-
it'd be the next Monday.
That Monday
Any
is
and
coming.
all.
But at what point in the week? Like on Saturday, are you saying next Monday?
No, you're saying
No, this
Monday.
Monday.
Monday. So at what point do you need a next or a
Because we're in this week. This active
Saturday
week.
is this week?
Yeah, but we're in the
No, the start
middle
of
of
the
the
week.
week.
What's the
It's the next week. It's not this current week, so it would be next Monday.
What
But it also
is the
could be
start of
this
the week?
Monday because it's this coming Monday.
But
So
you didn't
really
say
any and
coming.
But
all.
at what point are you?
I
you
like
do-
to pick and choose.
Like if I just said today is Wednesday.
If I told you a story about something that happened on Monday, on Wednesday, I would say this past Monday, I went to
Whoa, no. You said
No, you
which one?
changed it.
This past or this? Which one?
this Monday.
Wrong.
This Monday implies the next Monday.
I have to read y'all a DM that I got.
Was it on your Instagram story?
I put
When
on
was
my
it? Was it
Instagram
this Monday or
story.
last Monday?
Yeah, when you was it Tuesday? Was it last Tuesday? Was it yesterday?
It was yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on
Okay.
Thursday, will it be
Okay,
it'll
shut
be
up.
past Tuesday.
Okay, shut up.
This is why people struggle to learn English, and I understand.
Clearly this is a great debate.
hmm
So I posted a mirror picture of my outfit. Very boring, very basic, very typical, like throw it on the story type of post. And I received a DM from this woman, and she says,
This might be one of my faves. Natalie from time to time gets an occasional DM from a fan. This one might be one of my faves.
sorry, I have to unfollow you. The fact that you post only things about yourself is not for me.
Oh.
No.
I know a lot of your followers want to know what's going on in your life. I don't care.
Oh.
However,
Mm.
I do care what you endorse.
Indoors.
END
In-
DOORS.
Oh,
Indoors.
indoors.
Are the doors in the room with us? I'm not sure. And
Endorse.
your beliefs. Just a little too much self-centered post for me. Happy life to you.
Oh. At least she wished you a happy life.
And
She
then
did.
she
It was
did,
like-
in
it was-
fact,
it was nice.
unfollow.
My
It was,
God.
but, she wished her well.
What are you supposed to post on your Instagram?
What do you typically endorse?
I don't feel like she cares about what, like, the shirt I endorse and like pants I endorse, but if it's me, she's not interested.
Oh, she doesn't care about who's in the pants.
No,
Mm.
can't.
Did you
can't.
not tag your outfit? Is that why?
I didn't.
Oh, it's self.
dare
Now you're
you.
not doing this for the greater good.
What's
How
a-
dare you?
As someone who's a notoriously bad speller, I know the state of mind that she was in when she sent that. And it was a rush. It was a panic. It was a bit of a rage.
It was like, I gotta tell her I'm unfollowing her immediately.
She did not have time to think it through or proofread. It was like she really needed to get it out.
No, she sent indoors with confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
all, I mean, we have not all been there of like randomly DMing someone we don't know to tell them we're unfollowing them, but we have
Right.
all been on the other side of I did have to unsend like 3 different things from our group chat yesterday because I kept like mislinking and misspelling things. You know?
I mean, I guess. I just feel like if you're going to send someone kind of like not a nice message, being
Spell
like,
check.
hey, what you post isn't for me, I'm out of here, maybe like spell things right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Get your like
If
point
you're gonna
across.
if you're gonna
like,
hate
the
in
right way.
Technicolor, yeah, get the specs correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just love the need to tell you as to why versus just doing.
I know. One of my favorite quotes is like, this is an airport. You don't need to announce your departure.
Literally.
Do you endorse nipple cream?
I do, actually.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I do.
So
Kylie
does-
Jenner
yeah.
and Carrie Coon are agreeing that you should be using nipple cream on your lips.
What does nipple cream do?
Yes.
Nipple cream is like when
yeah. Yes.
nipple cream
Yes.
is what you use
Do
when
it
you're
all the time.
breastfeeding because they're like cracked and hurting and burning and
Like my lips.
some would say like your
Exactly.
lips.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
so they're
You
saying
understand
if
the
you put
pain.
nipple cream on, you don't have to put
There's not a lot
as
of
much
burning, I guess,
chapstick
but-
on. If your lips are chapped, they're not burning.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to give people any ideas. Anyways, we have a great episode for you today. Your current
What
bachelor.
ideas?
What?
What ideas would they get from that? Like you have herpes or something?
Like I don't know what else would cause a deep burn in your lips, but
Well, when they're chopped, they do burn.
Sunburn.
Hot sauce.
They're red and burning.
hot
Hot
sauce. Hot sauce.
You just went on an episode of Hot Ones. You're really going
Pineapples.
through it. You need a little nipple cream.
Wait, pineapples make your lip burn? I mean, I guess if you have a crack in
Yeah.
your lip, for sure.
Citric acid.
Yeah.
You bit
Okay.
your lip
Make my whole mouth
accidentally.
burn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have a very fantastic episode for you. Your current bachelor, Grant Ellis, returns to the show to give us an update on his life, his journey in love, and everything that's going on with The Bachelor. So that should be exciting to hear from Grant. Also, we have a very special interview before Grant shows up. Ingrid Andress is with us. You probably know her from her amazing music and songwriting, but also you may have heard of her, National Anthem experience during the MLB All-Star Game that did not go her way. She famously now was inebriated and under the influence, and it was by her own admission, a terrible performance, and she checked into rehab after that to try to fix whatever problem she had. But she is with us talking about that experience for the very first time. Very excited to talk to Ingrid, and that will be coming up shortly. Also, don't forget that we have a very special Going Deeper tomorrow with one of your finalists from this season's Traitors finale. It's going to be a good one. Very excited for you to hear from this guest. We will be posting the juicy sizzle as the finale of Traitors ends tonight. It's going to be wild, wacky, and fun. Do not miss it. That is tomorrow. Set your calendars, set your alarms. Be with us tomorrow. It is a great episode. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
Would you be pissed if you told your best friend like the name for our next baby and then they used it?
Livid.
You would be livid.
Especially our boy name.
That
You wouldn't?
tracks. No, I would definitely be a little upset. But I think also it's like, we'll just have two of the same names. Like, who cares? Like,
You
I loved.
confided in your best friend, a friend, a coworker, anyone, and they were like, "Oh, that's cool," and then you found out that they stole it. You have to assume that that baby comes first, right? So this would be a pregnant
Mhm.
friend
Mm-hmm.
or a friend that has a spouse that's pregnant or something. So you're clearly telling them in confidence, are you not? Like, and you're telling them with the assumption that they're not going to use it because they're pregnant. You're like, do you have a baby name? And you're like, oh my God, yes. And you're like, oh my God. And they're like, oh, and then you find out they take it. That's a violation.
Would you cut him off?
Yeah.
You would no longer be friends with him.
It would change the relationship.
This is stemming from a mom says her best friend stole her baby name and she wants to know if she should cut her off. She said the woman was getting her hair done by her best friend, who's her stylist, and they were discussing her baby name picks as the friend was struggling to find a name. The woman brought up that her pick was Evelyn May. Fast forward to the friend giving birth, and the friend took Evelyn and also May.
See?
Even
Not
middle.
Also May.
The hyphen is what really gets me.
I don't know if it's hyphen. I think it is first middle.
First middle.
Yeah,
Either
Still
way.
two
But
names.
that is rough.
That's not just one. That is
that's two.
yeah. That's still
Yeah,
duplicate.
because our boy name, we got the first and the second.
Oh, first and middle.
Whatever.
But it's like I have always loved the name Scarlett and the name Charlotte. I loved the name Scarlett when I was like 10 years old.
But you
Like
don't get to
shouldn't
call
have been naming
dibs
kids.
when
And
you're
then my
10.
sister had a baby named Scarlett, and then my cousin had a baby named Charlotte, and I was like, "Oh my God, people, seriously!" And my sister was like, "Listen, name your kid Scarlett. Name your kid
That's
Charlotte."
completely different.
Do you think the men should get? I'm not asking you. Do you think the men should get as much say in the baby's name because they get last name?
Yeah.
And you carry and birth and do everything for the baby. You breastfeed, you go through postpartum. Do you think your names trump dad's names?
I think so. It just depends. I feel like you obviously have to be on the same page, but like if you happen to walk out and the nurse comes in with the birth certificate and I gave them the name that I like the best, what are we going to do about it? You weren't there.
You weren't there.
Period.
You weren't
You're
there.
toxic.
Whatever. I'm also like, is it kind of your fault for talking to a pregnant person about your number one baby name? Like that's
It's
kind
your
of like a
best
kiss of
friend.
death.
It's your best friend. That's a circle of trust.
I
That
hope
is a
she
truth
said
circle.
you can't tell anyone or like promise you can't use it
Yeah,
or
like, are we workshopping or
listen,
like
Did
you
she
went-
ask her
Are
to
these
sign an
suggestions?
NDA?
If you went to a friend's house or something, I don't know, and you, I don't know, had a envelope full of cash and you left it there and for some reason, I don't know, and you said, can you watch this or whatever? And then instead they went to the casino and spent it. I mean, I guess you can blame that. You can be like, oh, well, I guess I shouldn't have left a envelope of cash. They spent it, but like that would probably change the relationship, would it not? Would you like maybe think of them differently?
Jesus
Would
Christ.
They would definitely be like a thief for sure.
and this person, Evelyn May, her mom is a thief. She stole a name.
Thief of joy.
Be one thing if you just took the middle name, but the first, or maybe just the first name, like Evelyn, common name, whatever, you could scoot your way around it, but first and middle is
Yeah.
pretty red-handed.
Middle names are fair game. You don't get dibs on any type of middle names.
think
if she only took May, if she was like Mary May or Eve May, no fucking problem. But Evelyn May, she took the whole thing.
That's
Canceled.
This is why you keep the names in the notes app.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't let them leave
since
there.
I-
Lips sealed.
Exactly.
I see. I think you should be able to share it with the understanding that, like, so especially if you ask, oh, what are you thinking about for names? Like, oh, have you any names picked out? You're being fucking nosy. By all means, be nosy. But that is you basically saying you can trust me. There's an implication there that, like, hey, listen, I'm just asking, I'm being friendly. But if you didn't take that name and give it away, tell other friends. Same thing. If I tell you the baby name and then I find out your other pregnant friend that I'm not even friends with stole that name, absolutely fucking canceled.
Well, that's the thing. If it's not your best friend,
Ooh.
it's the person eavesdropping your conversation right next to you.
But
So
you
it's
don't
like,
know them.
just
You don't
say
know
it.
them.
That's
Your
completely
babies
different.
aren't going to interact and have to like
They
fight
are.
because they have the same name.
But they might be in kindergarten together, and now they're going to fight over having the same name.
Mm.
It's not even not about the same name, because I do think like when River was born, like when we came up with the name, we thought like, oh, we really like this name, and it felt a little unique and yada yada yada. And then like she was born, and then we realized that like it's the most popular name of the year.
It's
And-
like when you start like hooking up with a guy who drives like a white truck, and then you start seeing a white truck everywhere,
Yeah.
you know, and you're like, oh my God, there he is. There he is. Oh my God, he's at Walmart. Oh my God, he's at McDonald's. And then it's just a white truck. And this
Yeah,
is like,
something
yeah,
like
we
that.
saw River everywhere.
I am kind of glad though, because like when she goes to school, it gives you character to like have to share a name. It's just like it's the principle of your friend taking both names.
Yeah, that actually happened in an episode of Sex and the City. Samantha absolutely read someone to filth because someone took Charlotte's baby's name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Gabby Wendy married Robbie Hoffman.
Okay,
Yay!
congratulations.
How exciting. They did it in a $799 Las Vegas wedding. And
They're
it looked like it
iconic.
was just the two of them, and I guess a priest and I guess a photographer.
That's how you do it.
A priest?
Maybe Elvis. I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't
would-
see.
Guessing a priest didn't marry them, but like
In Vegas? You don't
Look-
think it'd be someone like dressed up like a priest?
when you say priest, I think Catholic
Oh.
priest. Like if you say like presider,
Why would I say presider?
because that's what it is. I don't know, like preside over the
Come on.
wedding, isn't it? Like officiant.
Oh, officiant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love it when a hot couple gets married. I'm really happy for them.
That's very a $799. I feel like with Gabby looking the way she did, aka stunning and an amazing dress. I feel like I looked for that dress for my welcome party, so glad she found it. It's very on brand for Gabby Wendy.
Yeah. Did
To
you
like
ever-
look so stunning and be like, it was $799.
Yeah.
Natalie, similar to the baby name stealing, what would you do if somebody stole your dress? Like if you showed your friend and you were like, this is my dress, and then all of a
Ooh.
sudden they have the dress.
Well,
at their
first of all,
wedding.
Natalie would only get her dress from the great ladies at Sync,
Very true.
and they are very original, very
But I
custom,
will
and very
say
hard to replicate.
That's
so.
not true. They have dresses that they're not all custom. You can make a custom if you want to like pay for it, but they have a lot of dresses that like everyone else wears. And I remember I would get like mad at them, like play mad, but also like, if you bitches don't lock it the fuck up, because they would be like posting my dress on their Instagram being like, oh, the Gale is like so beautiful and this and that. And I would be like, stop it. You're showing people my dress. And it was like, I was the only one who knew that it was my dress, but I definitely would get mad at them for sharing it. So, but I would be just as pissed, I think.
I did not realize that Adrian Brody's girlfriend, wife, is it girlfriend, wife? Still don't know.
Girlfriend.
Girlfriend.
It's
It's
now
gotta be girlfriend.
It's
They-
girlfriend now?
It's
confirmed
They are
girlfriend.
not married.
Not married, because her ex-husband was
Harvey
Weinstein.
Weinstein.
Are they
Didn't-
even still officially exes?
Well-
like, has he signed divorce papers in prison?
I don't know, but I
What?
think so.
Mm-hmm.
The kids he referenced on his speech
Are
were
Harvey
Harvey's
Weinstein's.
kids.
The kids didn't do nothing.
No. It's
I just feel like we should make that clear.
Or her.
Or her.
From jail?
They were apparently.
It's just like
Adrian Brody and his girlfriend did allegedly get together when she was still married to Harvey Weinstein. But I don't imagine she was happy.
And I don't feel bad for Harvey Weinstein. So.
No, me
Yeah, I
neither.
don't either.
No.
Yeah, I don't think Harvey's
No,
gonna
the
get
way that this
Ariana Mac's
headline
treatment.
starts is disgraced film mogul and convicted rapist Harvey Weinstein reacts to Adrian Brody mentioning his children with ex-wife.
I hope
But he
brings him great distress.
But he did have a response to Adrian Brody's Oscar speech in mentioning his children.
What do you say?
So Weinstein's rep told the Post on Monday, Harvey's happy for Georgina and grateful that his kids are being loved and cared for as they deserve to be.
He didn't say that.
He definitely did not.
He did not
His
say
PR
that. His
said that.
publicist said that. He
Yeah.
said, fuck that and fuck them. And fuck
Imagine
them.
what's a worse job than
Than
question.
being Harvey
Weinstein's
Weinstein's
publicist. What is a
publicist?
worse job than that?
No one's making him do it.
Ooh, That's true.
There's plenty of worse jobs.
They could quit.
They could quit.
They could quit.
Yeah,
They don't have to do it. No one's making them do it. And like, I don't know, keeps them busy. Maybe they find it fun.
you're getting paid.
How do I spin this?
Yeah,
Did you see Millie Bobby Brown shut the fuck?
I'm really proud of her.
Did you see Millie Bobby Brown shut all of these journalists up?
Yeah.
Mhm.
yep.
She named names.
Yeah.
Name
She
'em.
She
named
did.
names. And
Good.
Matt Lucas, we think he's in a position to talk about anyone's appearance. Have you seen this man?
Well, what he was saying in his apology is that he didn't mean for. He posted a quote of like a character from a sketch that he did that she kind of looked like, and then he didn't mean it. He said he didn't mean it as a joke, or
What-
he
what's the
didn't
story?
mean it
What's-
as like an insult to her appearance.
What's going on here?
This is the man who one of the men
Who's
she
she?
called out, Millie Bobby Brown,
Oh,
for commenting about her appearance.
this is. Oh my God.
People are saying that Millie Bobby Brown, since she's dyed her hair blonde and whatnot, that she's aged herself and is like having this mommy makeover, even though she's 23, 25.
It's
21, yeah.
It's honestly the comments she's been getting are so bad. They're like really, really mean comments. And it's crazy because I saw these two, it was like back to back. So it was Millie Bobby Brown and then it was Pamela Anderson, who's like gone very natural. She like doesn't wear makeup on the red carpet anymore. And to Pamela Anderson, they're all saying like, oh my God, like you've got to put on makeup. Like this is, you like are aging yourself. You look so old. This is this. Like it's ugly. Millie Bobby Brown, it's like, she's doing too much. She looks too old, just like the hypocrisy of that. But Millie Bobby Brown posted a Instagram video saying she wanted to take a moment to address something that I think is bigger than just me, something that affects every young woman who grows up under public scrutiny. I started in this industry when I was 10 years old. I grew up in front of the world, and for some reason, people can't seem to grow with me. The fact that adult writers are spending their time dissecting my face, my body, my choices, it's disturbing. Disillusioned people can't handle seeing a girl become a woman on her terms, not theirs. I refuse to apologize for growing up. I refuse to make myself smaller to fit the unrealistic expectations of people who can't handle seeing a girl become a woman. And then she basically calls out not every, but a few.
Yeah, read the headlines that they wrote,
Mhm.
and then the person who wrote it was quite
Yeah,
good.
and she was disgusted because it was a majority of them were women writing these articles with disgusting titles.
It's gross.
It also reminds me kind of Britney Spears growing up, where it was just like the second that it was like a midriff or whatever, she's 16, she's 18, she's 22. It's like, it does not matter how old she got. Everyone was criticizing, you're too sexy, you're too this. And it's like, why can't a woman that you've seen since she was a child, why is everyone else allowed to grow up, but they're not?
Yeah.
And like, why are we allowed to comment on like how we think that they should be presenting themselves to the world? You're following it. So like,
I mean,
just be a consumer.
Just remember, fan is short for fanatic.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, fans, like the most hardcore fans, feel sometimes a sense of entitlement of like, I've supported you and therefore you owe me.
like I'm allowed to stunt your growth as a person. Like that's wild.
I don't think there's a lot of thought. You know,
Yeah.
there's not an objective thought. Mrs. Indoors, like I don't think she's sitting there and thinking, does this make sense? Should I be doing this? He just decided that like she has something to say. She wanted to say it. And Nally was her subject. And it's like, but
It is crazy that Matt Lucas's response is, I would not have posted it if I had thought it would have upset you, but I realize it has. And for that, I apologize. It's like, really? You wouldn't have posted that if you thought it would upset her? You didn't think like a mean comment about her body and about her would upset her?
yeah, you kind of just have to own it, right? I mean,
Be like, I've I fucked up. I thought it was funny. Definitely not funny. My bad. I apologize.
He also said for that I apologize, which means he's not apologizing for like what he did. He's apologizing for her being upset with what he did.
Ooh.
So
Well, I mean,
that's where it's like,
Ooh.
to some degree, it's like, like we would give commentary on the show. I'm assuming at times we say things that offend people or rub people the wrong way, but like to that end, we do have to like own it. It's like it's one thing to say it and be like, oh my god, like, I didn't realize that would hurt your feelings or upset you. It's like sometimes you have to say, I'm sorry that upset you. That necessarily wasn't my intention, but you kind of have to own it in a way. Like this guy, it's just like, just fucking own that you said it and apologize for hurting her. But like, yeah, I mean, say it with your chest. It is wild, like that he thinks he's in a position. I mean, that's the thing. It's just like just comment on someone's looks
It's crazy.
and like not look in the mirror is
To think that you're in a position to come after a 21-year-old woman's looks and it's him is
someone who has like been in the limelight since they were 10. I mean,
crazy.
can only imagine what the like internal mental struggle might be for Millie Bobby Brown to like decide what she wants her look to be, in the like because she's has all these voices of God. I mean, this is probably 1% of all the trash that has been written about her or comments. Like these are headlines. I mean, imagine what her DMs look like or comments on Instagram. It's atrocious, I'm sure.
people love to troll Millie Bobby Brown too.
Yeah.
Ever since she was little.
Since
Why
she
is
was a
that?
kid.
Like even like just from my perspective as a queer person, like people love to throw around like, oh, Millie Bobby Brown is homophobic. She hit me with her car, and it's like she did none of that.
She did none of that
People
ever.
just love to like
it just
her
became
specifically.
it just like
Why?
became a joke.
Who knows?
Out of
Just the internet loves to troll her, and that's what's unfortunate for her.
it was just like someone was like joking and lying one time and then like on the internet and then it caught on and became like a thing. And it's just you would think that like with how many child stars have come and gone and like experienced so much trauma and had their lives ruined that people would be a bit more careful nowadays, but
Are these
it's just the way the world
Are
works.
these
I guess.
British headlines? Because
I think
they
it's
are
a mix.
they are notoriously cruel to their
Yeah.
celebrities.
Yeah.
It's the humor.
Mhm.
Or lack thereof.
Humor with a U.
Monica Garcia is pregnant. Congratulations, Monica. She posted a very
Yay.
beautiful little spread with People magazine celebrating her pregnancy. Is this the same guy that she was talking about when she was with us and talked about her then pregnancy, which sadly she lost that pregnancy? And so congratulations to her and her rainbow baby. I learned what that was, sadly, when Natalie and I experienced miscarriage, but very beautiful that Monica and her partner are now expecting a child. So congratulations to her. We I DM'd her. I haven't heard back from her. I gotta find her number.
She's busy responding to all the comments. She's really supportive to her fan base. I love it.
Oh,
Well,
that's
Did
sweet.
she respond to my comment?
Did you comment?
I did. I said congratulations.
Oh yeah, maybe you need a comment.
Should comment like congratulations.
Instead
Check
of
your
a
DM.
DM.
One of those.
Yeah.
Jax Taylor.
Jax Taylor is in the news again. In what is not shocking news,
Telling Page 6.
that he has had a cocaine addiction.
Cocaine.
Cocaine. For what, 10 years, he said?
He said on and off since I was 23 and I'm 45.
I mean, just great of him that he's able to come out and admit that. I'm sure that was very hard for him to do. I feel for Brittany. I feel like she is finally able to kind of like speak more honestly about their relationship. I'm sure she was like protecting this for him. So she actually did come out and say, I'm glad that he finally admitted to what was really going on. For the first time, I can speak openly about the extent of trauma he's instilled on our family over the years. I've tried desperately to help him without success. I pray that one day he completely knocks this addiction, but I'm skeptical. His behaviors are still alarming and his treatment plan seems to be the bare minimum. I'm trying to navigate this as best as I can for my son and I, but every day is still a challenge and very difficult. Jax has caused an enormous amount of damage and I have very little trust in him at this point. My only hope is that one day he will be a better person for his son.
I mean, he sounds like a monster. And also, like, it just the time. Do we know when the Valley comes out?
Not announced yet.
It's not announced,
Soon.
but in spring.
Yes. Quote
Right.
soon. End quote.
It just always feels like self-promotion, you know?
Who, Jax?
Yeah.
I mean, happy for him that he is at a point in his life where he can get sober. I hope it continues, you know?
I mean, he's admitting in this kind of conversation with Page 6, he's saying that like he lost it and went crazy in the car with his son Cruz in the back seat, which is why he went back to rehab. that's when he said, shit, I have a problem. It's still there.
That's
and that's
crazy.
after seeing a man's name on Brittany's phone. That like he had his son in his car and lost it and went crazy in the car.
I will say that in Vanderpump Rules, you can see like there. I think it was Jax's wedding, but there's like a dish on like a counter that like while they're getting ready for the wedding, that it's just kind of like if you see it, you saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Must have been missed in the editing, but like
Wow.
yeah, it's just like it's
The amount of
number one guy
people-
in the group.
Infamous pasta situation.
The amount of people who put Jax Taylor on some sort of pedestal during Scandival just because they hated Tom Sandoval so much, and like for a brief moment, everyone was like praising Jax because he decided to ride the hate Tom Sandoval train. That always really just irritated me because it was all bullshit, and it was just people just like looking the other way because it was like in vogue to hate on Tom, but like why they forgot about all of Jack's past transgressions. Clearly, he had never changed. There was no evidence that he made any attempt at any type of changes in his life, and now we are reminded of that.
Well, I was like, I don't know if you remember, but during that period of time, Jax obviously wasn't on television. So Jax was crusading, starting his podcast, talking about like fatherhood and like how he's such a changed man and marriage. So it was like he was very much promoting himself as a family man while Tom Sandoval. So he felt like he was the authority to speak on it because he knows firsthand who Tom Sandoval was.
Mm.
He was the one that was also furthering that narrative.
But then clearly behind closed doors was treating his family like shit and doing drugs.
Absolutely.
He has only shown us that he's a terrible person. There's never been a redeeming moment since he's been in public. I mean, what are his name one redeeming moment?
He checked himself into rehab.
I mean, bare minimum.
I mean, even
Yeah.
Brittany is like, this isn't enough. You're
Mhm.
doing the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Are you guys watching White Lotus?
Yes.
Yes.
I am, yeah.
Who did it? Who do you think?
Monkeys. I
Alright.
think it's the
Spoiler alert.
No, I think it's the monkeys. I think a monkey got a gun, and I think they're trying to kill the monkeys, and I think it's representative of like how they're all animals in there.
Well, off of yours, and I'm like, thinking that maybe a monkey went crazy and the gunshots that we heard is them trying to kill the monkey.
Well,
Mm.
and they're leading us to think that the mom is the one that might have been killed, right? Is one of the people that might have been. Because
The mom, the mom, the therapist,
The
not
masseuse, yeah.
masseuse, though, who's there for training.
But it's definitely one of the white guys that had the gun.
Yeah.
Like it has to be
Well,
one of the
because
white
it's
guys.
Tanya's ex.
No, it's
Yeah.
definitely not.
I know.
It's definitely not Gary. Greg.
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 I was like,
Greg.
they all have the
They
same
did-
name.
She did think his name was Gary, though, wasn't it?
He like changed his name, right? Or was it always Greg?
I think it was always Greg.
Oh.
Maybe.
I
I
fell
just-
asleep during this episode, so y'all are just ruining it for me.
I'm an episode behind, actually.
I do think we need to do spoiler warnings.
No.
If you
Oh, we're
really
just
should.
we're just
We
speculating.
haven't
who we
talked
thought.
about anything in the last episode.
We thought
we're
could
just,
do it.
We're literally just speculating who might have done it.
Okay.
I was like, maybe one of the housewives.
Or
It's like, finally, it's time. I actually hate you.
I
They all-
don't think it's any of the old white men.
Oh no, it's definitely one of them.
No.
The creepy one going to Bangkok, or the one that has a scam that made him $10 million.
I definitely don't think it's either of them. That's
They're
too.
both-
Walter Goggins is not doing anything wrong. He just
it's
wants
too,
to smoke
it's
weed.
too predictable. It's
They're-
too.
It is, but they're both hiding too much.
They're all involved in something much more insidious.
I think they could be the reason maybe something escalates, but I don't think they're the one doing the shooting.
Okay, so then it's either the bodyguard or the manager of
The
the hotel.
bodyguards are definitely somehow involved. They
Mhm.
definitely whip out their guns for sure.
Wait, no, I think that Greg did change his name because she calls him by the name that she met
Was it Gary?
him, and
Thank
the
you.
whole thing is that Tanya, Jennifer Coolidge's
Mhm.
character was with that man.
I don't
in the
remember.
last
I mean,
season.
that was season 1 though.
That
Yeah.
season.
Season 1,
Season
and then he
one.
hired people to kill her in season,
Season 2.
2.
I never watched
Greg's been in
season two.
every season.
Yeah, Greg sucks. He's the number 1 White Lotus op.
Anyways, moving on.
Well, what I did watch is Beverly Hills Housewives,
Woo!
We
Woo!
finally got to see the scene of Kathy walking on the runway.
and it was just as iconic
She
as I wanted it
was.
to be.
She's awesome.
Her limping coming out
I think I broke my
of
knee.
the thing.
Sutton.
Do you want to have to read
You want to have to
and
read and see.
see? You know, as nervous as Sutton was, she was like, "Get the fuck away from me!" Like, no.
But also, Kathy making amazing television. Like, oh, you're
Mhm.
gonna.
Yeah.
Do you want Dorit, the person you hate the most,
Yeah.
to narrate and star in your fashion show?
Oh my god.
No, go find your seat, Kathy.
Also, when they're like, her and Kyle are getting mammograms and they're talking about Mo, and she's like, there's way we could find this out. It
I
made me
know.
laugh so much.
And Kyle was like, no. She's like,
No.
"Who has bigger boobs?"
Can you remind me Sierra, because you've been watching this longer than I have, like, where did the like kind of vitriol and hate from Garcelle and Sutton start towards Dorit? Like when they had this lunch, right? And it seemed like, or dinner or whatever, and it seemed like a very fairly civil lunch between Garcelle and Dorit. And then at the end, Garcelle's like, well, I'm still going to keep one eye open. And it was like, one eye open? Like, what has Dorit done that makes like Sutton and Garcelle act like Dorit is like untrustworthy or like she's up to no good or like she's, I mean, yeah, like she's been a little petty these past couple episodes and maybe kind of instigated fights with Sutton. But like, you know, this all stems from how, again, how Sutton and Garcelle have constantly treated Dorit.
I mean, there's a point in time where Sutton and Garcelle both were the new person. And to Justin's point a couple weeks ago, that it was like Dorit was a part of the Mean Girls.
The Fox Four.
The Fox Four, and like Lisa Rinna ruining lives. Like she aided in that. So it's like she would always be making comments and things to where it's like Dorit's smarter than people give her credit for. And that's kind of what Sutton says. It's very like, you know what you're saying when you say it. And Dorit's like, I didn't realize that made you feel this way or whatever it is. And it's like so many times you can take hit after hit and be like, you didn't realize. So they're just defensive against her because she was a bully.
She was. Okay.
Yeah. She was a part of the group of the girls that were bullies. And now that like...
Well, why doesn't Kyle get that same treatment?
Because Kyle's the star of the show. This is the first season I've ever seen where Kyle even kind of had a bad edit in the beginning of the season where I was like, oh my God, I think Bravo turned on her because she did that interview with Mauricio's show because you've never seen a bad edit or like somebody bringing up Mauricio's cheating allegations. That would have been cut from a season. And then we had it just like an abrupt, well, your husband has some infidelity rumors. And she was clearly caught off guard being like, what are you talking about? And they would usually edit that out, but they kept it in. So that's where I'm like, Kyle's getting hers too, but it's just, I understand Garcelle and Sutton not being able to fully trust Dorit. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I would say season 9 or 10. I mean, I think Dorit's like made her bed and now she's sleeping in it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think with what's going on in Dorit's life, it's like now she's, forming her own personality and her independence outside of PK and the Mean Girls, and she's standing on her own, which is really great to see. We've just never really seen an authentic Dorit. I haven't liked Dorit until this season.
She's also very long-winded, and I think that's what Garcelle and Sutton always return to is like every time they try to have a conversation, she dances around the point of it and never actually has the conversation.
Okay.
So that's where she says, like, let the mouse go.
I mean, that makes sense. It's just more like, well, yeah, like I get that she was part of this like Fox group or whatever, but so is Kyle.
I will say nothing brings anyone closer than shit talking. And her and Garcelle being able to talk about Mauricio and this woman. They were like, we have problems? I don't even remember because
let's talk about
she's
this.
at a Morgan Wade concert.
Also, Garcelle is the one that is going to bring up the Morgan Wade rumors. Everyone else kind of like tries not to, but Garcelle's like, well, let's not forget.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that.
I say this every week, but like, we just get divorced or not get divorced. But like the fact that they keep pretending that there might be some reconciliation. I love the way Kathy calls him Maurice.
Maurice.
What did you say?
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
That's what it was.
1,000%.
I just like, I don't.
And then it's like Kyle taking wife out of her bio. It's like, you guys have been separated.
He lives in his own condo. What do you think he's doing?
I actually appreciated that scene because I do think as trite as it might be, and I think like the show made it like seem like why does this have to be such a big decision? But the reality is that like people do pay attention to that.
Mhm.
It became a headline.
It was.
Kyle knows it's a headline. Kyle knows the super fans pay attention to shit like that, and those are decisions that like I mean shit. I mean not like Nelly and I have had to have like conversations like that seem like who gives a fuck kind of thing. Like, why do we even care? Should I do this? Should I comment this? Should I write this? Should I caption this? Should I do that? Blah, blah, blah. And, it was definitely a little bit of like an insider look to like, actual conversations that like Kyle and all these women kind of have to consider and things that like affect their lives that might seem trivial, but like, yeah, people do talk about them. People do pay attention. People do like, going back to the Millie Bobby Brown, like they analyze and break down and speculate and create rumors and yada, yada, yada. Like sometimes the question is like, like Kyle even said, when talking about this photograph, like she even is speculating the authenticity of this photograph. Like she doesn't think it's Mo who staged it, but like the paparazzi and, this, I don't remember the photo, but apparently there's like a heel kick and like you can usually know like if someone called the paparazzi on themselves. And the biggest takeaway is like, is it a nice picture or does it look like someone took a picture of you without you realizing?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, and if it's like, if you are in any type of pose or romantic kind of, if you look pretty good, you might have called the paparazzi on yourself,
Right.
you know?
Mhm.
And if you look like you are stuffing your face with a sandwich,
You
like
did not.
you probably didn't. Or if you have this kind of like confused look on your face, you know?
Yeah, and she's
Probably
a
didn't.
young model, so I'm not shocked that she could call the paparazzi on that situation. It's a plausible situation that could have happened,
Mhm.
especially since Sutton was like, I've been to the airport a million times, and Jennifer Aniston was there, and there was no paparazzi.
Yeah.
I love how they all kept comparing him to Brad Pitt.
They're like, he's no Brad Pitt.
Like,
It's very,
everyone kept
it's
saying
very Shania Twain. That don't
I-
impress me much.
It was that generation. It's like no matter
Mhm.
what, Brad Pitt will always be him, and George Clooney will
Yeah.
always be
Yeah.
the
That's
number
a
one
beautiful
guys.
thing.
Yeah.
Can we go back to, I got a question about White Lotus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
Spoiler
The-
alert.
The three ladies, the
Yes.
friends.
They hate each other.
How common is that in friend groups?
my
with
God.
So
ladies?
true. Oh my god, it was so funny the first time that I was watching the first episode with Connor, and they're talking, being like, "Oh my god, you look so good, you look so good," and Connor's like, "What the fuck is going on here?" And I was like, "She's asking about what work she's got done." He's like, "How the fuck did you get that?" And the next thing that comes out of her mouth is, "So who's your doctor?"
Yeah.
But I was like, yes, it's like that is unfortunately toxic female friendships. There's a lot of underlying notes covered in niceness.
The
Yeah.
chills that go up my spine every single time I watch it with my friends, and we're just constantly like,
When they all
during every
they
conversation.
all talk about each other and then catch each
Yeah.
other talking about each other, and they're just like, well, we all do it.
Yeah, they all
Yeah.
hate themselves and each other.
Yeah. So yes, common. Not for me, but common.
Have you ever experienced that?
Oh my God, yeah.
You have to choose not to in your
don't,
life.
guys don't do that.
Well, we know.
But why do you gals do that? Why do y'all do that?
Guys love to gossip too.
Mm-hmm.
Not like that.
No, Nick is bad at. I'll be like, oh my God, you like he was just with a friend, and it'll be like, did you hear like what happened? And he'll be like, I don't know, I didn't ask. Like what do you mean?
Guys
Like,
talk.
we didn't-
God.
I mean, my
So
I know.
annoying.
Like,
my
get
guy
the tea.
friends, we talk shit to each other's faces. You know, we give each other shit. We tease. We make fun. We give each other a hard time to each other's faces. We don't do it behind each other's backs, and we definitely don't do it like the way it's portrayed in the show, where you have like this group of friends, and then like and when the group's together and everyone's hanging out, it's all like these pleasantries and these exchanges. And when the group divides into individual little groups, like they start talking shit about the person not there. Like I am not familiar with that type of behavior in a group of guy friends. You are?
I mean, I think everybody gossips. And like
Mhm.
we all talk
I'm
about
not
each
saying
other
I
behind
haven't
their
gossiped,
backs.
of course, but I'm just saying in a male group dynamic, that behavior is not common.
I'm like,
Is it maybe with the gays? Is that different?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I
was
don't know
in-
what the gays do.
Yeah.
I don't know them.
I don't know them.
I wasn't making it a sexuality thing. I was just like, guys like to gossip too as much as women do.
I've had some of the biggest gossip sessions with my guy friends.
It's not just about gossip. This is about friends treating each other. Like, I mean, yeah, sure, I like to gossip as much as the next person. But like about
valid.
my closest friends, about like my boys, like, you know,
well,
I'm
the thing is that they're not the closest friends, even though they're
Yeah.
like best friends.
Yeah.
They all live in different places. So this is the first time that they're coming together, which means like FaceTimes and like kind of catching up. But like this is the first time that they're like all together. And I've had bigger groups of friends where it's like not everybody is as close. Like you have people that you're closest to, and then people that you're like kind of forced to be friends with because this person's friends with them, and so they're always coming around. But
Yeah.
it's like I don't like them, but I'm not going to cause an issue with this person because we're all friends. So I'm like, and that's why the whole like girlies posting, keeping your circle close and like finding 3 good friends. Like that's why we get to that point, because you go through so much toxic shit with women that I'm like, at their age, it's sad that that's still an occurrence. But like, yes, as you grow up and have groups of friends, your circle gets smaller and smaller because of shit like that.
And it's all, you can tell it's like all underlying jealousy,
100%.
which is always what it is.
Yeah, they
Mhm.
all are jealous of each other for
Yeah.
different, for
Having
different reasons.
Real
Yeah.
good girlfriends are people that are happy for you, that support you, that like literally lift you up. Girlfriends like this are the people that are like praying for your downfall, but being like, no, you got this, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. You tell them something that's exciting and they're like, oh,
But what if this happens?
someone hit her car on her way to that meeting.
Literally.
Just like Mike White is maybe one of the most like genius writers.
Absolutely.
Currently. It's the.
Do you think that's why White Lotus is so popular? Because I feel like it's a scripted television show written like a reality TV show. Like we obviously know that the family in the show has been inspired by basically Southern Charm and that entire cast. But like I think that's why a lot of people like there's like that's like the crossover between reality TV and scripted television. And obviously Mike himself is a reality TV star from Survivor. And he seems to also, I wonder what other shows he watches.
I think
I mean,
the
he's
thing
a
about
genius.
Mike White is like, it's so obvious he is just deeply, deeply interested in like human behavior and how people act and interact with each other, which is what reality TV is.
I wonder, like, when did they film this?
This season?
This past,
Probably
But
this-
like the Trump
year.
conversation, obviously I'm not trying to get into politics here, but like
it was brilliant.
the timing,
I didn't
like,
see it 'cause I
how did he,
But that's why I think
Huh?
that's why people do love White Lotus, though, is that he always does incorporate what's really happening in the times and the conversations that we're having. So we are seeing a reflection of ourselves in the TV show.
It was very, I had fallen asleep, so I didn't see this, but I did see a clip of it. And it was someone saying, like, this is the most perfectly acted, like the facial expressions where she's like talking about the people in Texas, like being Republicans. She's like, well, they're nice people. And she's like, wait, are you a Republican? She's like, no,
I'm an
but
independent.
David, I'm
she
an
does it.
independent.
I'm an independent.
the independent.
But David is.
It's like the most like pitch perfect. Like that scene is what's gonna win him an Emmy for writing.
100%.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Also premiering last night was Denise in the Wild Things.
Her Wild Things.
Her Wild Things, fun little television show. We watched both episodes. I mean, it's early, so I think it's they're getting their
Their feet
they're
wet.
getting their bearings.
I love it. It's all the scenes of Beverly Hills Housewives that I would watch. So I was
Yeah.
like, I get a full episode.
It's like Beverly Hills Housewives, and like I used to I grew up on reality television, but like teenage, so it's like The Hills, Laguna Beach, Pretty Wild, and I'm like, so seeing this like aspect of the two teenage daughters, it's just like
Oh, it's
giving
wild.
me
Yeah.
life.
Like if I was saying to Natalie, look, I mean, imagine if we're lucky enough to have a child, and River, and let's say we have another daughter, and they're relatively close in age. Like if they grow up and one is an OnlyFans model and the other one is like a hardcore like Christian, who's just like, oh my God,
It's the way she was
Yeah.
like, I woke up and God told me to go
To
to
the
the beach today.
and like
It's
then you
awesome.
find
It's
out
so
she's been
sweet.
religious for 6 months.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's
It's
like
perfect.
since I was 18 and a half.
It's like the perfect.
So
it's
earnest.
the perfect sister dynamic for TV.
Yeah, so
and it
funny.
feels
So
like
good.
it feels like watching an old MTV show. It's
Yes.
great.
So funny though, because I remember going through that stage myself of being like super, super Christian. I remember my older sister Caroline, I like told her, I was like sitting on the couch reading the Bible and she comes in like, bitch, are you serious? And I was like, well, that's why you're going to hell. I remember, like,
Yeah.
I definitely had that stage in
Yeah.
my life. And it seems like Lola is giving that kind of energy to Sammy right now.
The cuts between like
Her getting
Sammy getting ready for the rave, being like, we have Narcan.
This is
And then
That was
this
crazy.
Narcan was crazy. And then the sister in her prayer group, I'm like, this.
eating the tacos,
Thank you.
praying.
Like that, you die from shit like Narcan. Like isn't
Narcan
that,
saves
Narcan
you.
saves you. So if
Yeah.
you're doing drugs, if you have pro tip, I don't do drugs, but if you do, always have Narcan around, or you think somebody might be doing drugs at a party.
is it like how you
sniff
like?
it.
Is it like the fentanyl saver kind
It'll
of thing?
bounce them
Yes.
back if they're
Yeah.
going to overdose.
Yeah, so you can like have time to take someone to get help at a hospital.
If your friends are making sure they have to bring that, you're hanging around the wrong people.
But at least they're thoughtful
Yeah.
They're
I mean,
being-
enough
they're
to be
trying to-
like,
they're
let's
being
save their
safe enough.
lives.
in college, they give it to everybody just in case. So I
Yeah.
think it's a matter of just
Who
like,
gives it to everybody?
well, I don't think it's a bad thing, but the universities are like, if you need it or like if you like want to have it, like they provide it.
Really?
Because you're
Yeah.
going to parties, like even if you or your friends are not doing it, if you see
Somebody
someone else,
is,
like,
yeah.
I definitely
Oh.
won't be the parent giving my kid condoms at 13.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Like
kind
I
of the
think
same
we're gonna
thing
go
of
with
like
like a
just be
different
safe.
approach. I mean,
Yeah.
like yes,
Mhm.
it won't be like the scare them out of doing things, but like I don't know. I feel like maybe a different parenting method can like maybe avoid having to like make sure your kid's condom up,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that early, or like bringing Narcan.
I don't know. I feel like there's like a way to like be like, oh, I'm a progressive parent, but also scare them, being like, so this is Narcan. This is when somebody overdoses, is about to come to death, which you might be responsible for. So you need to be able to
No,
administer
I don't know.
this.
My- fear is a very like
Powerful tool.
powerful
Yeah.
parenting tool. Like yeah,
Like that's what I'm saying. Where it's like, because I would be thinking if somebody's showing me what this is, I'd be like, well, I never want that to be used on me. Let alone do I want to
Yeah.
be responsible to use that
Yeah.
on someone else?
I
my
feel like-
parents were always like this It'll kill you. Don't do it.
Okay, say less.
I think it's just like teaching someone CPR in case you're ever in the situation. A lot of people have Narcan in case you're ever in the situation.
Yeah, because it's like you could be at a party with you're not doing drugs, but there are people around you that are, even if you don't know them. If you're at a big party, especially in LA, and especially like at a rave and the type of places that I'm assuming that Sammy's going to and stuff, and it's just good to know that it's there so somebody can be safe.
I guess I hate that for the kids these days that they have to worry about stuff like that.
Yeah.
That is sad. But anyways, congratulations to Denise and her show. We'll be following along.
I will say a lot of people are talking about the purse conversation where her chain got caught in the table. So a lot of people have been reposting it. Like that's the most relatable thing of like.
It's awesome.
There's nothing that eats my purse faster than a picnic table.
Yeah.
I just love that she's trying to like diffuse a situation between her daughters while like all of a sudden being like,
like jamming a plastic
Yeah.
knife into this like.
She's I love Denise.
She's
so much.
everyone's
She's
mom in that
She's so
moment.
honest and so. I mean, like no disrespect to most of the housewives that just kind of came from money and their biggest moment of their career is being a housewife. But Denise is like Denise fucking Richards. She's literally like a Bond girl. She's a movie star and she's incredibly down to earth. Like she's one of the more down to earth, I think, housewives out there. Like she's just so like whatever. I'm like that scene where she was just like
the plastic.
Where she broke the fourth wall and she's like, and that's why we have a TV show. Like that was amazing. It was awesome.
And then when she's on Tori Spelling's podcast and she's like, people want to see my boobies and thank you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you'll cut this if you do want that out. That was great. Yeah.
I just like love how real she was too. And she was like, what it's a picnic. What do you mean bamboo and sugar products? I'm bringing plastic.
She's like, we're going to make it. It's so family.
Which is funny.
relatable.
It reminds me of Meghan Markle's like little documentary she's come out with or show that she's come out with. And she's
the opposite of
obviously-
Denise Richards.
Well, she talks the amount of just like plastic Meghan Markle uses in her home. And it's supposed to be very like earth friendly and all this stuff. And everyone's like, the amount of plastic bags that you're using right now and like the amount of balloons. Are you serious? Petroleum? Like that's what we're doing.
Poor Meghan. She can't catch a break. She's still rich though. All right. Up next, we have a very great interview. Now it's time for Ingrid Andress. We talked about article a lot on this show because we love all the furniture they are making for our home and yours. I've been an article customer since 2019. Now and I have raved and talked about some of the outdoor pieces we have at our house in LA. And so have our friends who come over and always ask us, where'd you get those very fancy beanbag chairs? I don't even know
They're
what
like lounge chairs, layout chairs. They're
squishy.
so comfortable, but they're also so bougie and like nice looking. They're such great quality. I have sent the link to them to so many people that I know because they are so good. Article offers curated range of mid-century modern, coastal, Scandi-inspired pieces that not only shine on their own, but also pair seamlessly with nearly any other article product. This thoughtful design approach makes it incredibly easy to mix and match, helping you create a space that feels cohesive and stylish.
And the best part about Article is that they have inventory. So many, and most of their things that they are selling right now online are available to be shipped right away. I mean, if you've been shopping for furniture, you know what it means to like find something you like, go online, and then they'll tell you that it's going to be available in 7 months. Article, not the same with them. Their customer service experience is top notch, making it an even better experience for you. Not only are you getting great furniture at great prices, you're getting an amazing customer service experience. And if by some miracle you're not obsessed with your Article pieces, no problem. They make that exchange or return process incredibly easy.
With the Article's 30-day satisfaction guarantee, you can shop with confidence knowing that if you're not completely in love with your new furniture, you can easily return it. Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. To claim, visit article.com/VIALL, and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/VIALL for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. You may associate elevating your style with breaking the bank, but that's no longer a problem thanks to Quince. With Quince, you can get high-end, versatile basics and pieces you can actually afford that will last you a lifetime. Now you can upgrade your style with high-quality essentials that make sense with your budget. Quince has all must-have items like Mongolian cashmere crew neck sweaters from $50, iconic 100% leather jackets, and versatile flow knit activewear. The best part, all Quince's items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. How amazing is that?
It's truly amazing. If you're not shopping at Quince, what the heck are you doing? They really have some great pieces for you, the men in your lives, really for everyone, whether it's, again, those basics or those beautiful pieces like their Mongolian cashmere crew neck sweaters. It really is a great place to redo your entire closet. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/VIALL for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINC.com/VIALL to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/VIALL. My parents homeschooled some of my siblings.
For real?
Mhm.
Why not you?
I'm one of the old. I have 10 siblings.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they were just trying new
Wow.
things out,
Yeah,
you know?
Dipping in different ponds, you know?
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Literally. That's kind of what it was.
Was it like culty vibes or like?
No.
Okay.
We're pretty normal for
Oh.
being freaks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Do you feel like they're as smart?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're as educated as I am.
I was just about to say
Yeah.
it's probably the education level is probably up there, but street smarts is where we lack at the beginning.
Well, I lack in all of it. So
Oh, okay.
it's okay. You're in safe
So
company.
no street smarts.
None of it.
or
Idiot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
She's lying. She's
That
very
is so.
She moved in New York as a teenager, so you can imagine her
Oh,
street
girl.
smarts.
Yeah. Oh, please. Okay, yeah. You
She
were
run
just
circles
joking.
around. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
fucking with you.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
doing.
yeah. Exactly.
Ingrid, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
We're so excited to have you.
So excited.
I'm excited to be here. First
Uh,
podcast back from my, being off the grid.
Where did you go when you went off the grid?
Well, I went to rehab
Love.
and I went back to Colorado, which is where I'm from,
Okay.
and spent a lot of time in the mountains.
Is your
And-
family still there?
My brother is,
Okay.
but everybody kind of dispersed.
Yeah.
I have sisters in Seattle. My parents live in the northern woods of Minnesota. My youngest sister now lives in Nashville with me, so we're all kind of just all over the
All over the
place.
place.
But yeah, I spent a lot of time with family, and then I was like, okay, I think it's time to reemerge.
I mean, how do you want to talk about that experience? What's your comfort level?
Just ask. Honestly, I'm so comfortable with it. I know it's such like a taboo thing for people to want to discuss, but to me, it shouldn't be because
Yeah, I mean, have your friends been like, so like,
that's been like the best part is like some people are full on like, what was it like? Like, did you have outfits? Like, what was the thing? And then some people are just like, I'm just glad you're better now.
I
like,
was
don't-
praying for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm so glad you're okay. As if
Lots
I
of
just
thoughts and
like,
prayers.
yeah. So I'm fine talking about it because to me it was such a needed experience for me based on the dark trajectory I was going down. So I feel like even if you don't have a substance issue, disconnecting and asking yourself where you're at in your life and really getting down to, your emotional well-being and like slowing things down, I think is essential, especially for pretty much everybody in this country. So,
How did it get to that point? Like, I mean, I got to assume a lot of things kind of have to go wrong for you to walk out into, I don't know, the pitcher's mound. I don't know exactly where you sing.
I'm really glad I didn't
the
have to walk
baseball-
all the way out.
the baseball diamond or whatever.
Walk out
But-
and a long walk back.
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't have made it to the pitcher's mound in my condition. Let me
but
tell you.
how does that happen? How aware were you like in that moment? Like, oh, fuck, I'm really fucked up, but here we go, or were you like, do you remember it? Like how inebriated were we?
So that day started as like what seemed like a normal day. It was really more, it's more about all the days leading up to that or like all the weeks. So at that point, like that day, I knew that I was drinking, but I was really loving like the numbing feeling that I was having. And so I just didn't stop. And so it wasn't until I woke up the next day where I was like, okay, this is so unlike me. Like, this is not okay. Like, I need help because I actually walked out and like did not care. I was just like, I don't care. I don't care how this goes. Like, I was so fucked up. Sorry, messed up.
No,
You can swear.
say
Oh,
that.
okay.
You can say that.
Yeah, I was so gone that afterwards I thought that I like kind of nailed it. I was like, oh, I feel like there were some hiccups in there. I could have sang it better.
You're more like, not my best. But
Yeah,
you know what?
literally.
We did good.
I
Yeah.
called my best friend called me after I got off the field. And I remember briefly talking to her. She's like, so how do you think that went? And I was like, well, I feel like it wasn't my best, but like that's how gone I was.
Wow.
But
And did that particular friend like break the news, or
she was very delicate. She was like, "Are you sure you think that went well?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll talk to you later." And it wasn't until when I woke up the next morning, one, I was like, it's terrifying that I don't remember how it went. And then that's when I called management and was like, "Hey, I need to go. I need to check myself in somewhere. Like, this is not like me. And I feel like I'm at a point where I don't feel like I can get out of this myself."
was that your first experience with recognizing any type of issues when it came to abusing substances?
Yes. That it was the first time because in my mind, I'm like, oh, I've had this under control for a very long time. And I think after I parted ways with my first and ever manager and broke up with my, very serious boyfriend, like all at once. And I didn't realize how much I didn't let myself process those emotions of grief. And I think at that time, everyone says, "Oh, just keep moving, keep busy." And because I didn't process all that, I didn't realize how much it was starting to creep in other ways, which, I was increasing. It happened really quickly. It was within like 3 months, I was drinking way more than I ever had ever. And just loved that numbing feeling because that's why we abuse any substance.
Right.
It's like, and really anything can
to
be
not feel the feelings.
Yeah, it's like shopping, eating,
Yeah.
gambling, sex, like anything can be an addiction. And we all have the ability to abuse substance when we are trying to numb something. So that's when I realized I was like, I don't actually know how to get out of this.
How quickly did it escalate into a problem now that you look back and reflect?
So my youngest sister lived with me for a while, like trying to get back on her feet in Nashville. And then she moved out in May. And that's kind of when everything started hitting me. Like I was alone in my house and like all those feelings of what I had, all the people I had to say goodbye to before and just everything hit me. And so like beginning of May is when it just started spiraling so quickly. So then by July, I was just like, I don't feel anything anymore.
I'm good.
And it's kind of
Yeah.
nice. Like, it's great. And to me, it worked out great. And it only took, global humiliation for me to be like, this is a problem.
How I I definitely remember when it happened.
Good.
Sorry.
Everyone does. Yeah.
Well, I'm a
everyone.
baseball fan.
God.
I'm
Yeah.
a baseball fan. So
Yeah.
really.
I mean, I was, and now I'm never showing my face in a game ever again.
But like
so.
how big did it really feel like the world found out?
It did. And luckily, the world was finding out as I was on a plane to rehab, which is when I made my statement and posted online that I was going to rehab. I didn't realize how much the video was going viral because I'd never experienced anything like that. I just figured like, oh, like people will make fun of me and then people will forget. And like the fact that everyone was picking it up and everyone was, doing reaction videos on TikTok. And like, I didn't realize that until right before I got to rehab. And I'm like, thank God they're taking my phone away because I've never, experienced this much hate on such a massive level before. And that's when I realized I was like, oh, I don't think I can handle this right now.
Well, I will say I am chronically online and I had never seen it or heard of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What a relief.
There are some of us out there
Oh my God. So you
who
don't
just know you and love you for your music.
Oh
and
my
again,
God.
I'm just a baseball fan, so it was probably like I was just watching like all-star coverage.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I didn't think they'd have the audacity to play the clip on MLB. Like,
right.
I was like, oh my God. But I will say, at the time, I know like politics was like really bubbling. And I feel like there was just a lot of angst in general during that time. So if anything, I feel like at least, if anything, I'm fine with being America's punching bag because for one moment, everybody was united in the fact that was
Stop.
awful. So I feel like I united America.
So you're welcome, America.
In a way.
But you said like you got hate. Is that and I'm sure any form of criticism, I'm sure feels heavy, especially when it's directed at you. But were people like really coming at you? Because like, I didn't know much about you when I saw it, but I was more like, oh God, poor thing, like what a bummer. But I didn't have a problem with you. It's like you didn't do anything to me, but like were people like personally triggered and coming at you, or did you
Did
kind of
everything just feel loud?
or just it all just felt loud?
I think the biggest backlash was because when I posted like, hey, I'm sorry, I was drunk, apologize to MLB, and like I'm checking into rehab. Like that was the most vulnerable I think I've ever been on admitting something like that, because I had the thought of like, well, maybe I won't tell anybody that I'm going and I'll just like disappear and then come back. But for some reason it felt like I got more hate from saying that I was going to rehab, of just like, oh, you're blaming it on being drunk when you're just a bad singer. And like it was really, it showed me a lot about, one, how sensitive I am, and two, just the lack of empathy in general, which I didn't think, I don't know, I guess I hadn't been exposed to that at that level before. But I hope it's not pointed at me as a person. I think there's just a lot of anger that people need to
Yeah.
get
Well, I'm
off.
often reminded, I don't know how much you know about me, or like I was once on a reality TV show.
I do know that.
I've told this story a few times, but it was like, it's maybe, I don't know, maybe it'll help you, but like I got trolled a lot at times when I was on the show, and then at first I blocked a few people. I was like, you know what, this person's mean. I'm not gonna listen. A few years later, I got a message on Twitter, and it was a young lady saying, "Hey, Nick, can you unblock me on Instagram? I really apologize for calling you, I don't remember, like a ugly troll, blah blah blah. But in my defense, I was 12." She writes. And it was like, I really like, I'll always remember that moment, because you just never know who's writing it. And it's just like, if you knew that all of your critics were 12 and 13-year-old girls, just like,
I would be like, okay, if that's what you need to do.
yeah, right? Like, I'm here for you,
Yeah, just get it out, sister.
But whether they're 12 or 13 or they're an adult human, like chances are, like when it feels like, what, this doesn't even make sense. Like, why is this directed at me? Like, I know I fucked up, but like, it's some version of a 12-year-old, basically.
Totally. Which I feel like, I mean, that's so great that you recognize that, relatively early on in this process for you. Because for me, it is new. And so I'm learning new boundaries of what I will read and what I won't, which I never had to worry about before. But it's kind of freeing in a way, because I do care what people think about me, but I'm realizing that I care more what they think about my music and my songwriting, and that, I mean, they can judge how I look, what I wear, like all these things that, I mean, are kind of pointless. But to me, what I care about is the things that I really care about, which is music and songwriting. So and I realize that some people won't like that either, but I just,
Sure.
I was gonna ask if you have, and what it looks like, your like relationship with social media today.
I think I want to be less precious about it moving forward, especially because I was so terrified of like fucking up for so long in my career. And I feel like now that I've done that on such a massive scale, it feels like the Band-Aid has been ripped off, and that I can show that I am a human.
Yeah.
And that it's, everyone thinks celebrities are a certain way or whatever, but I'm more comfortable showing up as a human being now, I think. And so whatever that looks like on social media is probably going to be more transparent than I have been in the past, just because I was so afraid that somebody would take something the wrong way, or I would offend somebody with something that I wore, or like just all those things. And now I feel like all those voices are not completely gone, but they're not as loud.
Yeah. I mean, the more people know that they can get to you, the more they'll try, type of thing. And the more you show people, like, do say what you want to say, and like it doesn't really impact me, then it just becomes boring for those people,
I know.
It's really, kind of a weird dynamic. Were there any artists that you are friends with or collaborated in the past that reached out and offered you any type of support?
Yes. So that was actually the other really meaningful thing that happened after the anthem. I was expecting no one to reach out or like, but there was just so much outpouring of love from female country artists in Nashville, and I actually felt like so loved and seen like going into rehab. Like
that's lovely.
Like Elle King was like, this is just all part of it, girl, and like she's obviously been there before too. And Kelsey Ballerini was like, welcome to the worst parts of this job. And like it was mostly women, and like Karen Fairchild from Little Big Town, and that really meant a lot to me because I feel like women in country music have had to stick together based on very obvious things because it's like a very male dominated genre, but for them to be like, hey, like we've all been there.
You're not alone.
Yeah. It was very meaningful. And Carlos Santana randomly
Okay.
was like, yeah, have never spoken to him before in my life. And he asked my management, he's like, hey, can I get Ingrid's number?
That's very iconic.
Right? I was like, hello? I was like in rehab. I was like, hi there. What's up?
It's me.
Yeah, it's me, your long lost friend. But he was so kind and so supportive and was just like, if you ever want to do a song, like, you know where to find me. And he like sent me flowers. And I was like,
Did you say yes?
Yeah. I was like, I will pencil you in, sir.
Where you're like, I'm lit. You know where to find me. I'm in rehab.
Yeah. And actually, this rehab has a studio. So if you want to like pop by here, like, please feel free.
Do you think you would ever want to perform the national anthem?
She redeemed herself. She just did.
Dude, where? When?
It was very recent. That was
Very
like on
recent.
Friday.
Yeah, you crushed. How did it feel?
It was great.
Yeah.
And
Why hasn't that gone more viral?
I wonder why. Because I sound better. I'm like, I actually sang it. And actually, people still are like, oh, she's still drunk. Like, she's singing it so slow. And I'm like, well, I'm singing it slowly because it was actually harder to sing this time around because the first time I had in-ears, which is where you can hear yourself.
Yeah.
I didn't hear myself the first time because I wasn't mentally there. But the second time they didn't have in-ears, and it was in an arena. So you have to sing slower because the echo is constantly bouncing back at you.
So they just made your comeback even more harder?
Yeah. It did.
And you still crushed, so
yes, I did. And it felt, when I tell you, like, I have never been more nervous about something.
I gotta, oh my God.
Like, the only thing getting me through it was the thought, like, I never have to sing this song again.
Yeah. Was it kind of like once I redeem myself and do it once, I'm like, that's all I have to do.
Yeah.
And was that something that like your team was like, hey, you need to get back there and sing the national anthem? Or were you like, no, I need to do this to show myself and my fans and the world that like I can sing this fucking song?
Yeah. It was a bit of both because I am a competitive person. And originally I told my team, I was like, I'm actually never singing that song again. And we were just going to move on and talk about it a lot. But as time went on and I was writing more music, and I was like, I think actually for my own mental well-being and to be able to close this chapter, like I need to do this for myself, even though I hate this idea, because if you bomb the anthem twice, your career is over. Like, truly, especially after. Can you imagine
the
bombing?
stakes are high.
Yeah, it's hard.
Very
It's
high.
hard.
Like there's really
Lot
no
of pressure.
coming back from that. Yeah. So, part of me just needed to do it to prove to myself that I could and to show people who maybe didn't know me outside of that. Like I actually am a singer and I've been doing this for a long time and it actually does mean a lot to me and I take it seriously. So,
how long was the like after you finished?
The next day
Okay.
was very different than the
Yeah.
next day.
Yeah.
The amount of I didn't realize how much weight I was
Yeah.
carrying with it. And so when I woke up the next day and it was gone, I was like, oh, I had no idea I would feel this much relief.
Wow.
And yeah, the video didn't blow up as much as the first one because I just think sometimes people like,
Yeah, they're terrible.
yeah. I'm like, how do I say this without saying people can be shitty sometimes?
Yeah.
Nick and I say this all the time. I mean, it's why we don't ever like really open up that much
Right.
about that kind of stuff is because no one cares. Like
No.
no one cares about the truth. They just want to run with the fun story that they've made up and
Yep.
it's going to go viral. Like no one cares about like your apology video. It's never going to go as viral as like whatever happened, you know? So it's never worth it, I feel like, because it's just not gonna it's
Yeah.
not going to
Yeah.
go the way that you think it's going to go.
I
No.
imagine like when, after the incident, like you making that statement was something that you felt like you needed to do. But like in the history of internet apologies, I've never seen the internet go, oh, thanks.
Right. We
Yeah.
forgive you.
That was well said.
That was
Oh,
good.
really, really thoughtful. Really nice. No notes.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, never.
Oh, yeah.
Never.
And
No, that's
it'll
so
never
true.
happen.
That's
So it's
true.
like obviously this was a very big thing for you, so it kind of you felt like it necessitated that, and every
Yeah.
once in a while, like it might make sense to make a statement, but like you never make a statement because you think it's gonna like go over well, and
No.
if short of you like really needing to, I'm just like I just opt out of not addressing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely more for me to do it. And that way I didn't have to like talk about it as much because I just went back out and did it and was just like, end of story.
Mhm.
I did it. You guys can stop trolling me, but it turns out they can still troll you
Yeah,
even
they'll-
after you nail it. So
They're like, this was good, but remember last time? You know?
yeah, exactly. I'm like, I do, but I don't remember really. But
Yeah.
yes.
Well, you have come out with a new song, Footprints.
yes, I have.
Was that your plan? Were you like, I want to come back and I want to come back with an amazing song?
Yes. I mean, the significance of Footprints was really more why I wanted that song to come out first. I actually wrote it a couple years ago for my siblings, all 4 of them. And because I was the first one to leave home and like leave the cult. Just
Mhm.
kidding. It wasn't a cult. It's a very loving family. And I felt like I had left them behind in a way, and I didn't want them to feel like I was abandoning them, but just to show them like, hey, you can learn from my mistakes and
Totally.
like, but I also wrote it from like on top of a mountain of like things were going well in my career. Like I was getting nominated for things and I was like, oh, see, like, look, you can do this too. Like if I can do it. But I listened to it again after getting out of rehab and it hit different because I felt like I was listening to it walking up the mountain this time as opposed to being
Ooh.
up there already. And it meant more to me because I wanted them to see like, one, your older sister is crazy but resilient. And like, even after all this, like you can still do this. And if you ever want, just know that like the path that I'm going on is to show that like you can also pursue your dreams and do things. And so to me, I wanted Footprints to be the first song because it hit different from where I'm at in life now.
Wow.
And I mean, I tell them all the time, like I try to lead by example. I'm like, don't follow all my footprints,
Right.
specifically not into the baseball stadium. But I think for me, it's important for them to know, like, you can go out and pursue your dreams. Not exactly in the way that I have, but it is possible.
But also just like, no matter what hardships you go through, you know, it looks different for everyone. Like you can come out of it,
Yeah.
you know, like you can find the light, you can like
Mhm.
do all of the things because you were able to do it, you know, when you are that example to them of like, it might not be easy, but it's doable.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
And the good news is the only thing Americans love more than a fall from grace is a nice comeback.
Exactly. That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it feel like that right now?
I think so. I I also love a good comeback story. It feels more like just I by no means like no one should take my advice and no one should be like, following my example after I release a song like Footprints. But I'm just like, it feels like a comeback, but it's also just feels like a return to something that's always been there.
Yeah.
And so, because I think people make mistakes. And so to then come out and be like, I'm different, I'm new, I'm whatever. It's like, no, I'm still me. I'm still like the messy, crazy, introspective me, but I feel more present in who I am as opposed to it being.
That's the thing, because like comeback doesn't have to mean like, oh my God, I've recreated myself, I'm a new person. It's more
Right.
like I've made a mistake, I've worked on that mistake. I'm still the very talented vocalist and songwriter that I've always have been without without the thing
Yeah.
that caused the thing, and now I can
Right. The thing that did the thing, and now we're doing the thing. And
Without that thing.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, totally.
You did get to tour with Stevie Nicks.
I did.
How was that experience?
Pretty life-changing.
Yeah.
She has been like my idol for such a long time, and she just transcends timelines and genres, and a lot of it is because of her authenticity as an artist and as a songwriter and just as a human. And it's rare that you see that as artists get older, I find. But it's almost like she's really embraced her journey and has really leaned into who she is. And I think that's what makes her so magical, is that she does not apologize. She just shows up as herself and has for decades.
Yeah.
And to see that, because her and I are obviously at very different places in our lives and careers, but it was so inspiring to see her still doing the thing that she loves. And like, the fans that came out were from all walks of life, like all different ages. Like, it wasn't just this one thing. It was really powerful to see how many lives and, how many generations she transcends. And I was honestly shocked that I was there, but I felt very at home, like with her fans. It felt like everybody appreciated storytelling and just being real and truthful. And yeah, it was very inspiring. I definitely want to be her when I grow up.
Do you enjoy songwriting or performing better, or is there a mix of both?
They fluctuate. After being on the road, I'll say I can't wait to get back in the studio. Like, I am done performing. And then when I'm in the studio for months at a time, I'm like, I can't wait to get out of here and, jump around stage. But I will say, I think songwriting is probably where I'm more comfortable, just because I feel like I can process my thoughts better in the moment. But being on stage has its own energy. It's like, it feels more communal than songwriting does. Songwriting can feel a little isolating, whereas performing on stage, there's like this energy of everybody in the room that is hard not to feed off of and feels very like life-giving in a way.
When you co-wrote Boys with Charlie XCX, like how does something like that come to be? Are you guys like friends? You call up and like, I have an idea for a song. Do your teams kind of get you together? Like, what does that look like? Because two different genres. And which I always love. I always love when like two different things come together.
Totally.
Like, oh, this is a fun one.
Yeah. Yeah. So how that happened. So Charlie, she is a very good songwriter. Like, she's written songs for like Icona Pop, and like she's also started as a songwriter and then turned into artist. And so Boys was actually the first outside song that she wanted to record, which to me was crazy because I looked up to her as a songwriter. And so for me to get the call of like, hey, Charlie actually really likes this song, I'm like, well, does she want to like tweak it? And she obviously added her sauce to it, but it was actually, we never like collabed on it because the song was already done.
Oh, wow.
And it was the first time that she took a song that she didn't write.
How does that feel for you to like write songs and then have other artists sing them, or like does that feel good to you, or is it kind of like weird because it's like you wrote it but then you're like honored because someone else is singing? But
And are you writing every song with the intention of you singing it, or do you sometimes, kind of to Nellie's point, deliberately be like, this is not even for me, but I just love what this song is?
Yeah. So when I started switching or transitioning from just a songwriter to an artist, the whole reason that happened was because I started writing songs that were very personal to me and like my story. And artists wanted to cut the songs, and I'd be like, no. And then my publisher was like, well, then what?
You sing.
Yeah. Or they're just like, well, you're supposed to want other people to sing these songs. I'm like, yeah, but they're my stories, and I'm having a hard time letting these go. And so that was like kind of the biggest reason I became an artist, was because I didn't want other people pretending that my story was theirs. But there are many songs where I'm like, this is obviously not for me. Like, I would never say that. Like, Boys being one of them, you know, as much as that side of me comes out a lot, I'm like, I am not like that all the time. And I would like to think I am. It's almost like me talking about somebody that maybe I'd want to be one day, you know, but I know at my core, it's like saying that you're a wolf, but really, you know, you're like a fox. You know, you're like, this is me. And you're like, this is not
This is
me.
not me. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Yeah, I'm joking. No one would believe me, you know? So whenever I write for other artists, I'm always hoping that they can hear themselves in it, because that's what matters to me. I'm like, does this resonate with you? Like, and obviously there will always be a part of me in those songs, but it's almost to like help facilitate them, as opposed to being like, this is about me.
What was the first song that another artist cut?
Oh, what was it? Honestly, Boys might have been the first cut. And then there have been, Fletcher has cut a bunch of my songs, which I love her.
Yeah.
I'd actually have to look. I haven't looked at my list in a minute.
Wow.
So humble.
So humble.
No. No, I'm being honest. I'm forgetting.
Back to homeschooling.
Oh let's go. Come on.
So were you homeschooled like your entire education system, or was it like, so my parent,
I was going to say, tell me about your
I have
situation.
10 siblings. I was public all the way. You know, they
Okay.
just like couldn't afford anything
Threw
else.
you
It was
in.
just like, you know, that's what people did. It was
Yeah.
homeschooling was very niche back then. If you heard of homeschooling back then, it was like, what is going on in that house?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then my parents, you know, I grew up very Catholic. So then some of my siblings did like private elementary school and middle school. And then with the younger ones, my mom was like, I want to do the homeschooling thing. It was like through the education system. So like she wasn't like on an island. She was like getting curriculum from teachers, and she was sending in papers, and they were getting graded and scored by actual teachers and things like that. And then my younger siblings would like go to music classes at the local schools. So it was very integrated with the public school system.
Yeah.
It wasn't on an island, so to speak.
Okay, got
and
it.
then everyone went to a high school.
Oh, okay.
Like normal,
Yep.
like high school for like, you know, just to integrate with society.
Right.
What was yours like?
Very similar.
Okay. Oh, then that's normal. That's like,
Yeah, well, except I started in preschool through like second grade, maybe. I went to like normal public school. But then it was getting harder to pull us out of school because we were starting to learn like pretty important things like reading and stuff. And my dad was a Major League Baseball coach, and he traveled a lot, and spring training is a thing every
who was
year.
you a coach for?
He started with the Detroit Tigers, and then he was with the Rockies for most of my childhood, and then he ended with the Mets.
Cool.
Yeah, hence why the MLB humiliation really stung
Really
on
hits
multiple
home.
levels. Yes.
Yeah. Did Dad have anything to say?
Oh, a lot of old retired players reached out to him. Let me tell you, being like, "Is your daughter okay?" And he was like, "No,
She's not.
She's not." But. So my mom decided to homeschool us because we would have to be pulled out of school a lot to travel with him for like months at a time.
Okay.
So that was the reason. And it was fine. We did those, like, for those of you who are homeschooled, you'll know this. It's like you get this once a week, go hang out with other homeschooler classes.
Mhm.
It was called a K-12 program. So once a week we would integrate with other homeschoolers. And that's when I remember thinking like, oh, I'm a cool homeschooler, because everybody else in the homeschool world, like there was a reason why you got homeschooled, you know, like there was just a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of it was like religious repression or like something like that. But then I started playing sports and got pretty serious about it when I was 13 or 14 is when you start doing competitive club sports. And so my parents were like, well, it's time to put you in public school then, in order to like start building that resume. So they actually put me in public school in 8th grade.
How did that affect that? You feel like you have a lot of
Oh,
opinions about it.
it would be one thing.
Middle school's hard.
Yes,
Yeah.
especially the last year of middle
Yeah.
school. Like it'd be one thing to go to high school because it's like you know, people
Everyone's awkward and
everyone's
uncomfortable.
awkward, and like you're coming in from different counties, and like
Yeah.
everyone's kind of like it's a new batch of people.
But everyone was like, who the fuck is this chick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it was like breaking into like the cool kids club last minute, like when they were about to, you know, leave, and they were just like, we don't really know what to do with you because like we're kind of done here. And I'm like, yeah, totally. I get it. I don't need to be accepted. So that was a traumatizing year for sure, because my parents were also very conservative and like sheltered us from a lot of things. And so when I got to middle school, I really had no idea like what was going on. And I wasn't allowed to wear makeup and had to dress very, very, very modestly. And I felt like I learned so much in such a short period of time of like, you know, oh, why is this girl crying in the bathroom over this guy? Like, what happened?
wow.
And like, oh, like, what's a push-up bra? I'm like, what does that do? I'm like, can I have one?
You're
And my
putting
mom,
a razor on your legs?
Yes!
Like, what?
I'm like, do you do the whole one or just
Yeah.
up here?
And the knee seems hard. The knee
Yeah.
seems.
They're like, why are you rolling up your gym shorts so high? I'm like, hey, you're not
I'm
going to
like
be able to
tying
do
your
anything.
shirt up and making it a crop top.
I'm like, does that help you play better? I'm like, I don't know. I feel like that would hurt in dodgeball, you know? So it's just, there was like all these things that I felt like an outsider, which is why I feel like social norms to me are such an interesting concept, because they change so much and like
Yeah.
they change based on wherever you go, and like they're a constantly evolving thing, and some people take them really seriously and some don't. And like as somebody who is still I feel like I'm learning something every day. It is a fascinating concept to me of like how we choose to interact with each other and
Yeah.
like what's acceptable.
It will be interesting. We have a 13-month-old daughter, and it will be interesting to see like what kind of
Yes!
things she
Oh
goes
my
through,
gosh!
and like
And
it'll
the
be weird.
personality.
Yeah, it'll be weird.
Oh.
It'll be weird.
It'll be great though.
You are playing the Grand Ole Opry this weekend.
I am.
It's kind of a big deal.
Have you done it before?
I have.
Okay.
Not in a long time though. Like I've had a lot of great memories at the Opry for sure. But yeah, this will be my first time coming back in like a couple years.
How are you
I think.
feeling?
I'm excited because it feels very familiar, but also very accepting. Like the country community is they're like fiercely loyal, and so I feel like it's kind of a nice welcome back into society, because country music fans really want to relate to you and they really want to hear your stories. And I feel like that's what I love about it so much. And I think the Opry has captured that for longer than I've been alive, and has done that for so many people. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm going to play Footprints for the first time there
Ooh.
on piano.
Oh my
I
gosh!
know. So we'll see if they like it.
Well, they will, of course.
It says here you're passionate about comedy and comedians. You're very funny, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
But do you have any fave comedians that you're following right now?
I mean, there are so many. I feel like I've watched everyone's new Netflix specials, like when there was the writer's strike, you know, and I feel like Netflix ran out of like content.
Yeah.
And they were like, let's give every comedian a special. And I was like, yes.
Let's
So
do it.
yeah, I feel like, well, I've always loved Bill Burr because he's just, very straightforward. But I also love Nikki Glazer. I've loved her for a minute. And I love that she's like finally getting her moment.
She's been a friend of the show for a long time, and it's exciting to see her.
She's,
crush it, yeah.
I just love her. Obviously, Dave Chappelle is like one of the OG. And Tennessee man, what's his name? Oh my God. He
Theo?
hosted Theo Vaughn, of course. Yes, him. He is wild.
Wild.
I'm really
The
happy
stuff
I don't
that pops into his brain, I'm
That's-
like, you are one of a kind.
Truly.
sir."
Yeah, and he'll say things. I'm like, I don't think I could say that out loud and get away with it. But he just
No.
has a way of just, okay, I guess so.
Yeah, it's the way that he says it to where you're
Yeah.
like, sure, man.
It's like he is just asking a question, I guess.
Yeah, you're just like, only you could ask that. And it's very, he's wild.
What Tennessee man are you talking about?
Nate Bargatze.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he's hilarious.
His dryness
Ugh.
like gives me so much life. And he's also been doing it for such a long time. So I feel like
he's having it. He's really having.
he's
a moment.
having
yeah.
a moment
yeah.
too.
Did
which
you
is
ever
cool.
think that was like a path you might take?
No.
No.
I feel like there are similarities in songwriting and comedy writing, which is why I think I get into it so much, because they're also writing, in country music you have like that twist at the end, or like that wordplay, or like
Yeah.
how do you tie this up in the end? And comedy is the same way, to where you're almost like working backwards when
Mhm.
you're writing a joke. And to see like the transitions and like the writing part of it is so brilliant. And I feel like comedians are just as dark as songwriters are sometimes. And so it's almost like your brains kind of understand each other. And at least in Nashville, like a lot of the songwriters and the comedians like are all friends, because there's like this understood, ability to write in hopes that you're bringing other people more joy, or to make other people feel more understood. And so I just love that about comedy. Sometimes it's I'm not a fan of all comedy. I feel like sometimes I'm like, no, that didn't
land.
do that.
Yeah, sometimes people have some misses. It's fine.
That's what you're
Agreed.
gonna miss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amen.
All our audience loves all kind of TV. Any TV shows you're a big fan of watching right now, or anything? Do you have the time?
Yeah, I'm really into Severance right now.
Mm.
I was on Reddit the other night.
Well, we're caught up.
Okay, same.
Spoiler alert.
What's your theory? What's going on with his wife?
I feel like, and I'm worried to say it because I don't want people to be like, yeah, there's no way. But I feel like she is recovering her brain. And so it's almost like if he breaks out of it, it's almost like they need him in order for her to like build her brain back in a way.
Do you think she died, or
I think
Lumen staged her death to
I
get her.
I think so too.
Right?
But like,
she can't. She died, and that's her ghost in like
I'm gonna be
No,
so mad if they leave in season 2
without telling us.
without like on a major cliffhanger where we have to wait a long time to find out some answers. I need some kind of answer.
well, do we think she did get in a car wreck and she had like brain damage, and part of Lumen's thing is to like rebuild someone's brain and like
But that sounds like a noble thing, and they don't seem noble.
yeah.
Also, the thing I will be so disappointed in if I don't get to see Helly meet Helena.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Yep.
like there's a lot of similarities between the innies and the outies, right?
Yes.
Especially Mark's innie and Marcus outie, kind of the same
They're the
gentle person,
Right.
right? But like Helly and Helena,
Different.
polar opposites, and
Yep.
I want to see her.
How would they do that?
I want to
though?
see her severed
Oh.
somehow. That would be incredible.
Yeah,
That needs to
definitely not going to
happen.
happen in season 2.
No.
That's
See,
in season 5.
Give me
Yeah.
but I need some clarity with Miss Casey.
I do too.
Yeah. Something.
The fact that she's still wanting to see, there's a lot going on. I feel like I'm starting to focus on Bert too now.
Yeah. Is he a part of it?
No,
is.
Bert's definitely a part of it.
He is, because his partner got a little wine, whatever, and was like, "Oh yeah, like you were there like 20 years ago," and he was like, oh, you've had too much to drink. Obviously, I was only there 7 years. And like the fact that before the guy left and he like reestablished, like he gets confused. It was only, which means he was part of making it. And so to me, he must have done something really bad because he was atoning for his sins.
True. So many questions.
Well,
anyway,
it's just so fun talking with you.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for being
Seriously.
so open and just talking about the experience. I know it's never easy, but we're wishing you nothing but the best and great success in the future.
And congratulations on Footprints.
Yeah, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
Footprints.
So
Please come
exciting.
back and just talk about life and
I would love
and,
that.
and comedy and TV and
Is there an album coming out?
There might be.
okay.
Yeah.
We'll look for that album. In the meantime, listen to Footprints wherever you listen to music,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, pretty
Right.
much.
Thank
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. Huge fan.
Love
Even
her.
bigger than I was before.
Love her. I
She's
mean,
great.
funny, first of all.
Really funny.
Really
She has a
enjoyed-
great, honestly, she's just like a great outlook, I think, on life. And I guess sometimes it takes going through that kind of thing to like,
I mean, let's be real.
but-
Like, obviously, like, we're not trying to make light of the situation, and she got the help that she needed. But like, fuck, man, I don't know. Most of my friends have had an experience via alcohol or some sort of substance where there was a big apology that had to come. You
Yeah.
know, there was a moment where they like, things didn't go their way. I mean, it's not to condone it or anything, but it was a human mistake, and I just love to see her rising and coming back and making the most of that situation. So it was great.
On my 21st birthday, I was so hammered and I was crying because I just wanted to go home. And my brother told me to shut the fuck up and stop crying. And he's had to apologize to me since. So
No, there you go.
even
Well,
when you're not drunk.
now it's time for our Bachelor Grant, and it is an interview. You're not going to want to miss.
I don't know about you, but I like keeping my money where I can see it. Unfortunately, traditional big wireless carriers also seem to like keeping my money too. After years of overpaying for wireless, I finally got fed up from crazy high wireless bills, bogus fees, and free perks that actually cost more in the long run. And so we switched to Mint Mobile. Say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month.
All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless services from Mint Mobile for $15 a month.
If you like your money, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/VIALL. That's mintmobile.com/VIALL. Upfront payments of $45 for 3 months, 5 gigabyte plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Tax and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. We all know how important it is to filter the water we drink, but why don't we think the same about the water we shower in? Clean water is the first step to effective beauty routine, and it's a step that I completely overlooked. I always wondered like why my hair felt dry and why it wasn't as like healthy as I felt like it could have been until I figured, you know what? Let me go to my water. And thankfully, Jolie changed the game for me. Jolie is a beauty wellness company that purifies the water we shower in for better skin, hair, and overall well-being. Jolie's filtered shower head is the best in class for removing chlorine and heavy metals. It's the only lab-tested and clinically trialed filtering shower head on the market, clinically proven to reduce hair shedding in 81% of people, lab-tested to reduce the hair frizziness by 40%, lab-tested to maintain color retention, lab-tested to protect the hair surface level. I mean, the list goes on. And also, Jolie shower heads have a beautiful, sleek design that's the perfect combination of form and function, so you don't have to have some like ugly, big, clunky filter up there. It's this beautiful, sleek, nice-looking shower head. Jolie will give you your best skin and hair guaranteed. Head to jolieskinco.com/VIALL to try it out for yourself with free shipping. If you don't like it, you can return your Jolie for a full refund within 60 days, no questions asked. That's jolieskinco.com/VIALL.
Grant, welcome back to the show, man.
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing? How's your heart, man?
It's good. Oh man, I'm going through it. Nah, but
How's your heart?
my heart's good. My heart's good. It's been a while since I've been on a podcast, and I'm really happy to be around you guys and see you guys, and I'm ready to get going.
I didn't get to meet you last time.
Yeah,
Everyone was raving
weren't?
about
You
you.
weren't?
I wasn't here. I don't know what was. Maybe we didn't have a babysitter or something. I don't know. But
You're just like, oh, fuck Grant.
whoa, no. And then I saw how good a season was, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll be there for this one.
No, it's a pleasure meeting you, and we had a blast last time.
Can I just say something? You're a really good bachelor, man.
Oh man, listen,
Yeah.
there's a lot of mixed opinions, but you know something.
Fuck 'em. I can tell. I am the foremost authority on who is a good bachelor and who is not a good bachelor.
Your opinion definitely matters, man.
You're very good. When I say that, Joey was very excellent, obviously fan fave, but like, and I don't even mean like, whether people, there's so many things outside of your control as the bachelor.
Right.
But what I've always been really impressed about watching you this season is your ability to listen and respond to the women and make them feel seen and heard without getting defensive. You've never had to like clap back, or like you've navigated very awkward or difficult situations with a very high emotional maturity level.
You've also never said thank you for sharing.
Oh yeah, that's
which is really
it's like so nice.
It's
to
difficult.
Hear.
It's
because
difficult.
thank you for sharing is a telltale sign of I don't give a fuck.
Mhm.
I don't know what to say.
All right.
And you've always like had something to say, and I think that is a great quality, and it speaks to your emotional intelligence.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's definitely difficult. I try to go in there and just lead with love, try to listen and try to have a connection with each of the ladies, regardless of how far along we were, in our romance in that aspect. But I tried just how to have a connection. I really cared about them and each of the stories because you learn a lot about them, and regardless of how it came off, I really tried to help everybody grow, and myself. I grew a lot on that on the show as well. So yeah,
I'm very excited for this ending.
Yeah.
Probably less excited than you are.
Yeah.
But let me say why I'm excited, because like the best possible season is when you're like the lead, because the leads, they really usually know going into hometown weekends. They, if they don't know, they have a pretty good idea. And it's usually the producers like being like, "Well, just keep an open mind."
That's the saying. You have to keep an open mind.
And you're like, "Great, I'll keep an open mind," but I'm picking her. And it really seems you seem really torn, man.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to just how the final two, they were amazing, and I had connections with both of them, and they were so different, and it just came down to what I was looking for in my life. Who could I relate to the most? And, there's also an extra added pressure on being, the second Black bachelor ever. You think that you have to make a decision based off of, what people would want or this or that, but you have to go with your heart. And I think I did that. I just need a little extra time to sit and really think things through because I wanted this decision to be final.
How much extra time did you get? Like 10 minutes? Or?
Yeah, it wasn't, listen, everything's...
You don't get much time.
You don't get much time. Everything's, it's a lot of drama. It didn't take as long as what they say, but I understand they have to play it up. And yeah, it was a really hard decision, but this is somebody who's going to be my wife. So I really tried to approach it like that. And yeah, we got to see how it ends.
So did you really not know the morning you woke up?
Listen, I knew based off of what I needed. But like I said, it was a mixture of things, not wanting to hurt somebody. You have to stand your ground and really decide what your heart wants. It was between my head and my heart at one point. I had feelings for both. I was in love with both women. And yeah, it was hard for me to hurt somebody on which is going to be the most important day. Should be the happiest day of your life. And then, like I said, what you think people want you to do, you have to take a step back and be like, you know what, this is for me. And I'm going to go with who makes me the happiest. So yeah.
I want to circle back to your final three women and then get into your final two. But Dina recently went home, and I was bummed for you. I was more bummed for Dina. I mean, I know she spoke on why her family didn't want to come. I come from a family of 11, like she does. I come from a very religious family, like she did, and maybe not quite as hardcore. I don't know, like your dad being a deacon. Big deal.
That's pretty.
That's hardcore. But I was disappointed for her because, like, I don't know, like, listen, like, she's a 31-year-old woman. She's an adult woman. I'm assuming her parents did a great job raising her. She's very accomplished. And it's like, sometimes your kids are going to do things that maybe you wouldn't do. But, like, I feel like you need to show up for your kids. You need to show up. I'm assuming that, like, her family just in no way at all supporting this journey of hers drastically impacted your decision because, as great as I've always been a big fan of Zoe throughout this season, but clearly the connection doesn't seem to be there. She, her first one-on-one was a hometown. You and Dina really seemed to be something there, but it seemed like as soon as her family was like, sorry, as much as you felt for her and, got to meet her friends, but I got to assume that played a major role in your decision.
I'm not going to say it was as big as a factor as, I really just felt bad for Dina and how she, because you want your family to support you on a big day like that, to show up and rally behind you, especially when you're going to get, looking at it back, you're going to get opinions from the internet and your family has to have your back. But I think the whole situation with Zoe is just to clarify, a lot of people maybe question why Zoe made it that far or things of that nature. I think, listen, with Zoe, she grew up in the South and she's a strong Black woman. And the way that she comes across off camera, maybe sometimes she's a little defensive and sometimes things like that come into play. But what I will say is every group date, every situation, she showed up and she gave her all. And I see where that comes from. I've dealt with that in the past where you get stigmas placed on you or things like that. And you have to power through those. So I really wanted to help her grow. And I think that, I have empathy. I'm an empath. So like I saw that in Zoe and I saw a place for me to help her, to help build her up. I saw a place for growth where I could say, okay, this person and I could relate and I could kind of teach her or show her not how to be, but like how to grow out of a situation when she spent majority of her childhood going through probably, bullying. And, you could tell that she needed some confidence instilled in her. So I tried to be that person.
Yeah, I really liked her on the show. I have enjoyed her. Someone who she's an engineer or something
Yeah,
like
she's a
that.
tech
Even
engineer.
that, like it's a very male dominated profession. So her whole career, is she's inserted herself that she's immediately an outsider as a woman of color. Like she has to deal with feeling like that already at times.
Right.
The Bachelor house is a very much like there's always a handful of people who are treated differently or
Yeah.
treated like a household because you're not part of the group and
Right.
things like that. So I really connected with her on that
Yeah.
level. I'm glad she's made it as far as she has, but and I know you can't speak on it because we don't know, but it does seem like clearly the connection with Juliana and Latia.
Yeah.
Like it's obvious. Like it's so obvious that those are so strong. But like I feel like I've been pretty good at being like
That's it. Yeah.
that's the person.
Right.
I think I've called it a few times, but I truly like between Latia and Juliana. Every time you're with both of them, it really seems like that's the person you're most in love with.
Yeah, they're both bring unique sides out of me. And, I think that with Juliana, there was something that we could relate to.
Called her Jules.
I call her Jules. I called Latia TT. So
That's
Okay.
true. He did call Latia TT.
I wasn't
That
sure
is
if
true.
I wasn't sure if we just got a spoiler.
Yeah, that's
No.
true. He did call her
Okay.
TT.
I call her TT. So I'm just corny like that sometimes. I be like,
He likes a nickname.
Yeah, I like a nickname.
He likes a nickname.
No, but I think that she brought a certain side out of me that was, we really related over the addiction and some of the trauma we went through and how we were going to build each other up and how we could understand each other. And Latia was really nurturing. She is an amazing woman and she has so much to offer. And I saw that. So both of them had different aspects that that's why I had such a hard time going down to those final moments. So
I think I might have said that you did her a little dirty with the conversation on the rock where she's like, listen,
Right.
if it's not me, like I'll go. And you were like, I'm kind of locked in.
Right.
And then you sent her home that night.
Right.
I blame producers.
Yeah, Nick thinks that was like a producer,
Nick
like
probably
keep
knows
her
best.
keep her around for
Probably knows best.
why not let her go in that moment? Did you?
Because he didn't get the he didn't get the bat signal.
Yeah, I think that, listen, I'm not going to say, I went in there, I knew that, with Carolina, the attitude that she had on the dates, not a bad attitude, but her demeanor was kind of like, she was questioning and doubting. And, there were things that happened behind the scenes that weren't necessarily showed on camera. But going in there, I was leaning more towards letting go of the relationship. But when, she started to cry and she started to do things, she did her
thing.
She did her thing, and I had to diffuse the situation, and maybe it would have been the best idea to end the relationship there. Looking back at it, maybe I was trying to be too nice, and maybe worried about my appearance or how it would look and, when somebody's crying, sending them home. But at the end of the day, we definitely had a connection. I tried to mend that as much as possible, and I try because I really did have a connection with her. But all the things that got in the way and just her questioning the process and doubting me, it started to really get to me. And right there in that moment, I was trying to, I went in there with the mindset of maybe this is going to work out, but then I had to remember all the good things that we had and try to fight for the relationship. So
To Nick's point earlier, because I have to say that like watching your season, this is one of the first Bachelor seasons where like I'm not fully sure watching throughout who you're gonna pick because you have such good chemistry with these women.
right.
Did you, I don't know how I can ask this, and I'm like, did you have a first impression on somebody to where you thought maybe they would make it to the final two and it did happen, or like it was the person that you picked, or is it something that you like grew to have a relationship with the person and that's how they ended up being a final? Like, did you know?
Yeah, the final two women, I had a connection with them
Night
first
one?
night one, or even the second episode, basically, you know. I think that a lot of people, you know, even, and I'm going to bring this, even my connection with Alex, she got the first
Yeah, I was
impression.
curious what happened there.
Yeah, our love languages were very different, you know. We're very different, and not to say that I was more serious, because I know she was serious, but she wasn't used to the romance and things like that as much, you know, and we were trying to work, but ultimately it was I just saw the difference there. And like I said, she was great. You know, we could have moved forward, but I just thought it was best that it didn't happen that way. But as far as my final two, I thought that, yeah, we were right on par. I thought the connection was there from night one.
Love
Yeah,
it.
so.
Have you spoken on the whole like Carolina and Rose fiasco and like?
Yeah, it definitely comes up.
I was team Grant.
Yeah, well,
for sure. Because I mean, I know people were like out there being like, he actually did say that, but I was like, that not in the context in which he's being accused. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so it definitely comes up in the future, but you know, there's a difference between saying, you know, I'm thinking about giving reassurance to somebody and then saying, listen, when I'm with this person, I'm thinking about you. Like, that's not how I meant it. That's kind of like, that gives off major player vibes, and I wasn't trying to give that off. So I think, yeah, there's just a miscommunication there. But there's a big difference between what I said and then what was said that I said didn't say.
Yeah, looking back, do you blame? Do you think that was Carolina being kind of little, petty or like messy, or do you think Rose seemed to really feel like she didn't realize what she did? She seemed as confused as you were,
right?
You know,
right.
Or it's just like. I feel like at first when it happened, I was more critical of Rose, but then the more the season played out, I was like, I don't know, like this
it's messy. It's definitely messy.
This Carolina just she's not dumb.
Well, she definitely is smart, and you know, I think that at the end of the day, it falls on me. You know, I could have done a better job of communicating that, but at the same time, I think that Carolina started to doubt the process from that moment on. So. Again, I see both sides of it, and I understand why Carolina started to act the way that she did. Because if you're told that you're gonna question. So ultimately, I think it falls on me. And maybe if I would have worded it different, or like I said, going in there trying to reassure everybody, and just because I cared, maybe that wasn't the best thing. Maybe, you know, but in that moment, I genuinely I had a connection with Rose. You know, our first thing, we did the blind date, and we were kissing, and well, I mean, I was kissing everybody, but
you were kissing everybody.
But we
definitely say to yourself now.
we definitely had a connection, and I saw something with her, and after that happened, it kind of just it spiraled after that. So
I feel like Alicia kind of caught people the most off guard, just because night one you had a great kiss, you had great chemistry,
right,
and then she kind of disappeared, and then she was gone the next night,
right.
Was there anything that like happened, or was it just like there's just so many other women here that I'm
good
a little
editing.
bit good editing?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we did have a connection, Alicia and I. But after the basketball date, I just felt like I had connections that were better in the house that I wanted to explore more. Okay. And Alicia's an amazing woman. She's great, but it just wasn't for me.
Okay.
We are heading into Fantasy Suites on. No earmuffs, babe. But going into Fantasy Suites, you know, it's a lot of pressure. It's the hardest week.
It's a lot.
There's a lot of expectations from some of the ladies. Some of the ladies have boundaries like Latia, where it's 100%. Like, hey, I got a very strong opinion about sex and intimacy. Other ladies are like ready to go. You know, it's like, this is my time to land my man, you know?
Right.
And you kind of have to navigate that, and various leads go in with various expectations. Did you go into Fantasy Suites with any like set boundaries of how you wanted to conduct yourself specifically around sex?
Yeah, Fantasy Suites is really tricky. But I think I handled myself very well. You know, regardless, you know, like I said, I was there's a lot of kisses, but I do feel like fantasy suites, I really reserve myself. And because when you get physical intimacy involved,
Changes things.
it changes things. And your connection with somebody is probably, there could be some red flags there, and then you guys have sex and then everything's wonderful.
Mhm.
So I tried to handle myself really well, and I tried to be responsible. And yeah, my expectation was I wasn't going in there saying I'm not going to, but it had to be, I had to know that this person was my person in order for me to engage. And at that point, I didn't know who was my person.
So he didn't fuck.
You know what? Yeah.
Well, I
You
didn't say that.
didn't fuck.
I didn't say that directly. I didn't say that-
Well, you didn't say you didn't do other things.
I didn't say to do other things, but yeah, I handle myself well, you know? And then also too, like I said, there's always the pressure and the stereotype of, you know, me being the second Black Bachelor. You know, people are going to think I'm a player or this or that, or I'm just trying to get my rocks off. And I wasn't. You know, I went in there with real intentions. And, you know, prior to that, I had been celibate for a year. So I got out of a 7-year relationship, and I was hurting. So like, you know, sex is great, but I wanted to make sure it was with somebody who was my person, and then we could fuck all the time, you know?
But you've had
Hey.
sex since.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Are you nervous? I mean, obviously, Women Tell All has been filmed. It airs this Monday, this upcoming Monday.
Right.
Does it?
Next
Is it
Monday.
Monday?
This month.
That was an argument we had earlier. Next Monday or this Monday?
This Monday, I believe, right?
Do you, what, how would you describe,
Oh, shit.
would you say this Monday or next Monday?
Well, I mean, I think, well, what day are we at? We're
A
at
Wednesday.
Wednesday. So, shit, that's a good question. I would say this Monday. Because
Okay, so
the following Monday has passed, so it'll be this coming Monday.
Okay. How did that go for you? Were you nervous? Were you questioned? Were you
Oh, yeah.
interrogated? How did it go?
I was interrogated. You know, I like I said, I was definitely, some of the ladies had questions for me, which I could understand. You know, I could understand. It's not easy being a bachelor. It's not an easy feat. It's not an easy job. And yeah, I had to answer to some things. But like I said, I just took accountability. And the worst thing you could do in my situation is get emotional. And, you know, emotional to the point where you start to clap back and do stuff back.
Mhm.
So whatever feelings you had, I just took accountability. You know, and I'm not perfect. You know, I may not be the best, you know, but I did my best, and I think that the ladies perceived that well. And yeah, I did my best. So
What's the most surprising thing that you've learned about yourself going through this process?
it was like a therapy session for me, honestly. You know, situation, you know, coming up, you're gonna see me reconnecting with my dad, and me just knowing I had a lot of stuff inside that I was just holding in.
Yeah.
You know, as a man, I try to always be strong and like try to keep that brave face, but sometimes you gotta let it out. You know, you gotta let it out. You gotta be in tune with your emotions. And I feel like I tried that. You know, not that I tried that, but this journey really awakened that in me, you know, my emotional side, and to say, you know, it's okay to speak on how you feel as long as you're not crying everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
But there's a place and time to as a man to let yourself be vulnerable. You know, I think it's a strength.
Absolutely. And also, are you surprised that the process worked in the way that it has?
No, I think the process works if you go in there and you're ready. If well, not to say that, but there's also external factors. But for me, because I was at a point where I was like super ready, I did my best to make it work. You know, and like I said, obviously there's external factors. You know, it's both people that have to make it work.
Right.
But from my end, you know, I was ready.
I've noticed that this season is a bit truncated compared to previous ones. When I was hometowns for my season was week 9.
Right.
So this week
Wow.
6. Did you have any conversations with the producers about this being shorter than previous seasons, or you know, or did you even realize that?
No, I did. I did realize it was shorter, and you know, there's some things with the network. Obviously, I don't really know. You know, maybe scheduling or things like that. But listen, I was emotionally, I was getting drained. So I mean,
It was
I'm
long.
glad it was only six or 7 weeks, because I would have started to spiral if it wasn't. So
Yeah, I mean, when I'm thinking about just like in terms of like how does that affect, you know, your ability to fall in love and things like that. I think and my guess is probably not much. You know, for me, like I kind of knew who I was going to pick fairly early on and things like that. And a lot of the other weeks and other dates are more just like the drama on the TV,
Right.
TV element. So you felt like it didn't really affect your ability to connect with the people that you cared about the most.
no, it didn't affect my ability. Like, I'm a lover boy, so I was falling, like, you know, it didn't take me a lot. See, I was falling like week 2, so I was like, it didn't really take a lot, but it does when you start to fall and then you form another connection here. that's where things you wish you had a little more time to kind of like really figure things out.
Okay.
How scary was hometowns in the sense of like usually you're meeting somebody's just one set of parents or family or friends, and
Right.
it's like you did 4. So like
I did a lot.
back to back, like how did that feel
Well,
like having
3.
to prepare for was it 3?
Well, Dina's family didn't.
Well,
go
still
out.
friends.
So, a couple
Friends,
friends.
sometimes
There was
are
a lot of
scarier.
friends too.
Friends are
Yeah,
scarier
yeah,
than
yeah.
family sometimes.
Yeah, no, not that I was scared. I just, at first you walk in there with nerves. You might be a little nervous, but then when you meet the families and they're so welcoming and cool, it's like, oh, like this isn't hard. I'm just be myself, So going in there, I was a little nervous, but I said if I'm just gonna be myself, and whoever accepts me for me is that's a sign.
When Juliana's dad was like, "Hey, kissing my daughter," like, did you get a little like tight in the stomach, or did you know he was joking?
Nah, I knew he was joking.
Okay.
He was such a cool guy, Like I knew he was messing around.
I'd like to play a little game.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. What we got?
Okay. And I want to apologize if you are in a relationship. I do want to apologize to the one you picked because I want to ask you to describe what a life would be
Ooh.
like
Oh.
with Jules, and then I want you to describe to me what a life would be like with Latia.
TT.
TT.
With
And
TT.
And Zoe. We still have Zoe. You could pick.
Like
He
all
could.
respect to Zoe, love Zoe, but
it
and
was
he's
There
not
was
saying
not 1 ounce
anything.
of
but I'm
chemistry
not-
on that day. I was like, there's not.
I'm just not going to make him do that.
Okay.
Right,
And
right.
if,
All right.
if he wants to do that, he is welcome to do that.
Right,
and I
right,
know
right.
he
He
can't
won't
say
ask.
anything specifically, but I this is my question. It's
Okay.
my game.
Oh my God.
And again, I do want to apologize if you are in a relationship with the person you are in a relationship with, because it's no fun to hear Grant describe what a relationship would be like with someone he decided not to pick.
For sure.
And, yeah. So I want to recognize that whoever you are,
Apologize.
to TT or Jules, this is a me question. Don't get mad at Grant. You can hate me.
Okay.
All right. Describe to me what a life with Jules would be like.
I think it would be very family orientated. I think it would be fun. I think it would be a lot of us building each other up and healing each other from our past experiences that we went through. And I think it would be a relationship founded in friendship.
Where would y'all be living?
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Probably on the East Coast.
Okay.
Probably on the East Coast. I grew up on the East Coast. So yeah, typically maybe in the city somewhere.
Okay. What would like your nights look like? Are we like going out to dinner? Are we cooking? Are we watching a movie? Are we hitting the clubs? What
Okay,
are we
yeah.
doing?
We might hit a bar or two, but I think wine, some great food,
Okay.
some good vibes, some good friends, and then maybe we might go out and dance or do something fun.
How quickly would a relationship with you and Jules result in children?
Oh man, I think
Immediately.
I don't know about immediately. I think that my time horizon is before I'm 35.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay.
So I think that it would be something that we take on, you can't really say, you could plan it out, but I think it would just be something that happens instead of us being like, we want it by this time.
Where would your first trip together be as a couple?
Probably Italy. He's Italian.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, of course.
Okay.
That's a good place.
All
Okay.
TT.
TT.
All right. All right. Yeah, with Latia or TT, I think it would be, like another relationship rooted in family. I think that it would be a lot of similar morals that we have. I think it would be fun, loving, nurturing. I think it would be very serious. And I think that, the family aspect, it would be something that we would be getting into sooner rather than later.
Yeah, her family did very much not hold back that she's ready
Like,
for
are you
children.
talking about the kids part?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be like probably in a year.
Where
or
would
two.
y'all be living?
But that and that does that work with your 35-year-old?
Yeah, it's anywhere before 35.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, anywhere before 35. So if it's like, if that's 32, 33, then it's that. But if it's 35, it's just whenever it happens.
Where are y'all living?
Probably somewhere either on the East Coast or somewhere in Utah.
Aren't you in Texas now?
I'm in Texas.
So you're getting the fuck out
Why
of
aren't you
Texas no
staying
matter
in
what.
Texas?
You're out of
I've
there.
been there for a while. I have property there, so it's like I could leave that. And for me, I've been alone for a while, so I probably would go to where my fiance is happy. You know what I'm saying? And I would probably build around that.
What's Jules' favorite movie and what's TT's favorite movie?
Damn, that's a good question. I would say for Latia, I think it would definitely be a rom-com like The Notebook. I know it's cliche, but we had
It's a good
talked
movie.
about
It's a
that.
good movie.
And I think for Juliana, it would
Yeah.
probably be The Godfather or the Goodfellas? What is it?
Both there's Goodfellas and
yeah,
Godfather.
Goodfellas.
She's
The
Italian.
Goodfellas. Yeah,
It's the
she's
Godfather.
Italian. The Godfather. The Godfather.
For sure.
The Goodfellas Godfather, something like that.
Who's cooking in each of these relationships?
I cook. I love to cook. That's a way that my dad kind of like showed love to me. He would like make me food, and it was weird because he would like watch me eat it. I don't know. It's a weird thing, but I probably would cook. But we both cook. There's room for growth, both of us.
Room for growth.
Room for growth. Room for growth in that.
Who's making the bed?
I'm not the best bed maker, so
Neither is
they
Nick.
can
You
make
know
the
what
bed.
Nick said the other day? He hasn't made a bed since middle school.
I'm with you, bro. My mind is like all over the place, so I don't make my bed like that. So
Like, what's the point?
what's
I'm
the point?
getting
You're gonna
back
get
in
it
later.
You're gonna get back in
That
it.
is not true, because if he gets into a bed that's not made, he's like, really wish this was made.
Well, now that I have a wife
right?
who can make my bed, like I was like, do your. I'm just kidding.
No, but seriously, when there's something good about getting into a bed. It's better sleeping in a bed that's made than one that's not.
Sure,
That's true.
but I'm not
Feels
gonna
better.
make
That's
it.
true.
Yeah, I'm like,
yuck.
Right
Yeah,
before you
right.
get in at night, you can like straighten out the
You can straighten it
sheet,
out, right?
bring
I'm
things
sticking
up.
with my. I think he picks Jules.
Well, I love Latia so much. So I'm hoping it's her.
Jules has been my day one.
We gotta
I
see.
will say on first episode, I picked Latia and Jules to be final two.
Yeah.
So
You did.
What
She did. I
What
did
gave
not.
that away?
I
She
think
has eyes. No.
Yeah, it's like really obvious.
I did not.
I think it was just I saw the connection. I think they are both so stunning. I think they're both so smart. I think they're funny. I think y'all had a good connection. I want it to be Latia just because
She's
I
amazing.
don't know. I just see it. I just see it. We did say that Latia looks like she is like a creature, like a siren, like a creature from like
When
a
she was riding that horse
fantasy.
in the woods, I was like, who
Her
is
hair,
this
all this
beautiful
long,
creature?
Bambi,
yeah.
like-
And I mean creature in the best possible way.
Like Bambi, like that. Like she's like, yeah.
Yeah. But obviously, if it's Juliana, I also like love her and like wanted you to pick her as well. You know what I'm saying? I am team both.
We got to tune in and see.
I think you had an amazing connection with both. I think you really were torn. And I think as much of a man as a god as you might be, I feel like Latia's faith is unique and different than yours. And I can't help but wonder, well, I think regardless, that made your choice challenging, right? Because she's very passionate about her religion. And like you had 6 or 7 weeks to get to know all these women,
Right.
and both these women. And I don't know, like, I feel like it would be impossible in that environment, in your shoes, to get whatever clarity you would need to know is this something we could make work, we could do? Like, you clearly had all the respect in the world for her faith and her family, and they were wonderful to you and very welcoming. But like, I think whatever decision you made a huge leap of faith, because that's the
Yeah,
choice.
that's the
Like, it's
choice.
always a leap of faith.
You're
And
saying like in the time frame that we had, that being a question was a really
that's
big.
another
it's a-
another decision that's another decision you have to figure out. That's another leap of faith. It's like, it's one thing, are we compatible? And I feel like ultimately that's why you ended up picking Jules.
Well, we gotta see.
Tune
that's
in.
a tune in.
Team
Tune
Zoe.
in.
Yes, of course. Yes,
If you
justice for
pick
Zoe.
fucking Zoe after all this, that is
Wow.
crazy.
Did you see that Alex said that you playing?
Was it
Yeah,
Nick?
it was
Yeah,
Nick.
I saw that. And like I said, I tried. I've never done that before. I tried something new. We were in the mall and the producer just brought out a piano. I'm like, well, fuck it.
See, that's right.
I was like, I might as well just go, fuck it. But I don't regret it. I tried something, put myself out there. I'm
She's the
fucking-
goofy one.
Yeah,
Alex.
that,
It's like, oh, I thought you liked fun and games.
yeah. If anything,
Yeah.
Alex was the one that I thought she would receive that.
You brought out a llama.
You brought out llama.
Yeah,
But it's not something I think it was something that, I tried it.
you tried.
You win some, you lose some.
Overall, just you happy you said yes to this experience?
Yeah, I'm very happy. I learned a lot about myself, and the outcome I'm happy with.
When you released Party Girls,
Great song.
great song.
Great song.
First of all,
Listen, there's mixed reviews, but
Fuck 'em.
I did it because that's how I was feeling.
Did the producers did they know you were gonna?
No,
drop
I
that?
just did it. I went rogue.
Did you get a talking to? Did you get a-
Something. The original idea was, because love and music are synonymous. So there was going to be like a story for each episode with each woman, and
Okay.
night one was a party. But then
They said no.
Immediately I got so much backlash.
They
I
said
was
reel
like,
that the fuck in.
I was like, pull that shit in. Like, it's not, don't do it. I'm like, oh shit. I mean, that's me.
It's good, man. Like
That's my personality, you know. Like I'm creative. I like to have fun, and love doesn't have to look one way. It's not linear.
We gotta make that a bop this summer.
Yeah,
I think you should lean in when you get done. To that end, obviously, you know, I know when I say what's next, and you're gonna be like, I'm gonna focus on love and like going back to normal and blah, blah, blah. But like, listen, this is an incredible opportunity you were gifted. I had turned that opportunity into what I'm doing now. It opened up a lot of doors for me. Like this experience does give you incredible access, right?
Right.
So like all the, you know, fans and like pressuring you into like not talking about this opportunity because I think you can both be serious about finding love and take advantage of this gift that you were given. Like, what would you like to do next? And how would you like to use this opportunity? You don't get to say give back.
No.
You know, like, because yes, you will give back. I am sure you will donate your time and you will use it for good. But selfishly, what do you want to do with this experience, and how would you like to utilize it?
Yeah, I think in love, there's a whole, like, obviously the Bachelor has a very they have an audience that's been with them for so long. I think that on the other side, there's people that see it a little differently, you know? So in my creative mind, I'm like, okay, well, how could you kind of be the host of a show where you matchmake, you know? So I came up with this concept. It's called Spin the Block. It would be a woman or a lady who would be the prize, and then a man who maybe needs an upgrade. He would come to her. She has a choice to say like, okay, would you want to date this guy? No. He has a chance to spend the day with me, being me, and then I would, you know, teach him how to dress, teach him how to talk. You know, maybe I'll teach him how to.
Is this a TV show?
No, like a YouTube series, but it would have to be obviously approved. But and then after that, you ever seen Hitch?
Yep.
It would be me playing the role of Hitch, and then after that, he comes back, and then if they like each other after he quote unquote spun the block, it would, you know.
I think you should ask for forgiveness and not permission.
Yeah, but obviously I gotta see but that's just a concept, you know. So something like that.
You're obviously a creative person, and your creativity has talent behind it. So that's a fun idea. Like, and cool. Listen, I had man. Like trial and if that doesn't work out, man, just keep fucking swinging, keep trying things. I was roller skating, doing shirtless Bob Ross paintings. I was trying it all, man. Like
you try it,
you gotta figure it out.
Figure it out. And I think that has a cultural relevance to it. You know, like I said, that's a saying that people say in culture. Like, I'm gonna spin the block. It's something that it's culturally relevant, and it may be open to a different audience that sees love a little differently than what's presented on The Bachelor.
Well, that's awesome, man. Well, very excited to see how things play out for you. Whoever you end up with, it sounds like you have some great women at the end. And wait, one more question.
Go ahead, ask away.
How nervous are you to talk to your runner-up?
I'm not nervous. I think that obviously I'm gonna have to answer to some things, you know, which is that's normal. But I led with my heart, and I laid it out there, and you can't go wrong as long as you're honest, and as long as you put it all out there. So I'm not nervous.
Do you anticipate hurt feelings?
I do. I mean, I would be hurt.
Have you made any contact whatsoever with that person since filming?
No, I didn't. And the reason being, and just out of respect for everybody, I just don't feel like I don't think it's the right thing. I think that, you know, things will be answered on that day.
To your knowledge, are Jules and Latia close?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, you know? No.
Okay. All right, Grant. It's been fun talking to you, man. Wish you the best of luck. Excited to see if you are with someone I anticipate that you might be, and excited to see who that is. And selfishly, I do hope your runner-up's a little pissed so that we can I
can get grilled at that.
Have some drama. But listen, man, you should be really proud of how you handled yourself. You were an exceptional Bachelor.
Appreciate it.
I think so. And congratulations on your journey, and excited to see how it ends.
It means a lot coming from you, Nick. I appreciate it, man, for real.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you to our guests, Ingrid Andress and Grant Ellis. So much fun talking to both of them. Be sure to join us tomorrow for a very electric and awesome Going Deeper with one of the finalists from Traders. It's definitely going to be the person you want to hear from the most. I promise you that. Also, if you haven't listened to Tuesday's reality recap, Taylor Ann Green was with us along with Carolyn from Traders. It was a wild and wacky episode. Be sure to check that out as well. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.